Hey, what? Man, yes, what? Do you know what time it is? Matter of fact, I do. It's time for a mystical journey. Yeah, that's right. It's time for an adventure. Oh, an adventure, you say? Well, who should we bring along with us? What say you we bring all these people along with us? What do you say, everyone? You want to come along? Okay.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to yet another edition of the Fringe Radio Show for the 28th of February in the year 2015. Hard to believe the month of February is already gone. Hope everybody is having a great weekend here in Salt Lake. Beautiful weather until just about an hour or two ago, and turned to rain and snow, and out on the west side here. Boy, it's really coming down. If you're out and about, folks, be careful. It is really, really slick. Fringe Radio is here every Saturday night from 6 till 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 o'clock till 12 midnight Eastern Time. And, of course, you can hear Fringe Radio on Global 24 Radio. Global 24 is an international shortwave broadcaster broadcasting on 93.95 kilohertz in the international shortwave broadcast band via our partner in Florida, WRMI, Radio Miami International. We'd like to say good evening to all of our listeners that listen to us throughout the world on Global 24. And, of course, you can tune in to the Listen Live link at k-talk.com. The whole gang is in the Inception Radio Rooms chat. If you want to go out there and join the show, you can go to InceptionRadioNetwork.com. Or if you're listening to us here on good old AM 630, up and down the Wasatch Front. Fringe Radio covers anything related to the paranormal, ufology, alien and alien abduction, science and science fiction, cryptozoology, and conspiracies of all kinds. And, of course, the last Saturday of the month, we change it all up and take it, everything. I guess we'd call it take us all into the world of fantasy.
Yeah.
Would be a good thing.
Why not?
Why not? You can find Fringe Radio on the World Wide Web at fringeradioshow.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. If you have a story, a sighting, or questions for our guests, you can contact us on the webpage, or you can call into the studio here. The Salt Lake City studio line is area code 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. Or if you're out of the country or out of the state and you want to call in and ask some questions, you can call in on 1-888-919-2355. That's 1-888-919-2355. That number is provided to us by the great folks over at Inception Radio Network while we are on the air live. And as I mentioned, at the end of the month, I always look forward to game, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. But before we do that, I think we need to just mention, take a moment to mention Leonard Nimoy. Kind of sad, and I know you guys are huge Star Wars fans,
but still,
I think guys like Nimoy really started things off. I thought it was kind of interesting how a lot of those characters, when they started with Star Trek and some of these programs way back when, they got typecasted. But I mean, look at the millions and millions that it made for Nimoy and the character and the fun and the excitement he brought to fans across the world.
Totally. And it just seemed like he cared a lot about his fans and what he helped create, that whole universe.
Yeah. So it was sad to hear that, but as he said, he 83 years, he lived a good life, and again, he'll be missed. I know, and we'll talk about that later on in the show. I think there was a little part about him in the new movie, but you never know. Through the magic of CGI, maybe they can bring him back in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, I've talked enough for right now, and as I said, every Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, Arthur and Alex come in and educate us about movies and gaming and local artists and people that just do some amazing work. So without any further delay, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Arthur and Alex, and it's good to see both you guys here, especially on a bad night in Salt Lake City.
Yes, it's good to see you.
I'm glad all of us made it here alive. That's what I'm glad.
Yeah, we were we were cutting it close, so that's good to know. Are you going to use that mic then? Here, we'll share this mic if you can. All right, so hey everybody, welcome to the Game and Movie Empire show. We have an awesome guest here who we're going to announce and talk to and just geek out over, or geek with. I don't know. We'll find out. It's unscripted, guys.
It's a free country.
It's a free country we live in, North Korea. Ooh, be careful. This is global. All right. So, anyways, but real quick with a few announcements with us. So yes, I'm Watson, and this is Arthur. Go ahead. You can say.
Hi, I'm Arthur. You can't see me, but this is my voice.
We are. We just want to say to you guys that we're really thankful for Pat, as always. This was his idea, and he's super awesome to let us come on to his show. But it is once a month. But even though it's once a month, and we always encourage you to listen to Pat, which is every Saturday night, we also do Twitch and YouTube streams on Thursdays. So so please check that out. Check out on our Facebook and stuff. And man, everyone is so excited. Sorry, my phone is going crazy.
Yeah, and you can find us. Just look up J-WAT Productions. That's J-W-A-T with 1 T. You can find us on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube.
There you go. Last time we played Dying Light, and that was a lot of fun. So, yeah. Well, all right. Let's, we get that out of the way. Let's jump right in here. So, I'm really excited. As you all know out there, I'm very into art, and I'm very into especially local artists and things like that. We have such a huge talent here in Utah, and it's awesome that we get this opportunity to show off some of these awesome talented people. And so today we have one of my favorite artists, Basie, or also known as Pandapropaganda. And so Basie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks.
How was everything going for you today?
It's good. Just drove back from LA today, so I'm
nice.
I'm alive and going.
Cool.
So,
and we'll talk all about what he was doing in LA, because that's definitely some really cool stuff going on there. So, the fun thing with Basie is I didn't really pitch it to him very well, but he had no idea that there was going to be a radio show live in front of a bunch of you guys.
Thanks for that.
It's basically the same thing. I mean, because you can't see who's listening. So
yeah, I like that you can log onto my Facebook on your laptop, Arthur. That just brings me so much assurance.
No, don't worry. You logged in, not me.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, make sure you copy the chat. So we also have a chat. We also have on the Inception Network, right?
Yeah, InceptionRadioNetwork.com.
And then we are going to post on our Facebook, so you can jump on here and ask Basie some questions, because we're going to talk to Basie about art and all things awesome and nerdy. We also encourage you to check him out while we're talking about what? What would you like me to do?
Oh, my goodness.
I already did that. I already did a status. Come on. But he also has some awesome prints to give away, and we're going to be giving them out throughout the show. And we're talking with him. Basically, how he does his work is through his Instagram. So tell everyone how they can find you on Instagram while we're doing this.
So on Instagram, it's Pandapropaganda SLC, and that's just one word.
Perfect. So there you go. So go check him out while we're doing this Pandapropaganda SLC.
Yep,
right?
That's right.
Cool. All right. So let's just get started. Let's start with the basics first. Why Pandapropaganda? What made you come up with that name?
Me and my brother have always liked pandas, and one of my first drawings that started Pandapropaganda was basically a mix of a panda and a robot. We call it the Panda Bot.
Sweet.
And that's
okay.
That's what started Pandapropaganda. So
sweet.
Cool.
Propaganda.
Also, very nice alliteration.
Yeah, and it sounds like there could be, just any ties, but we're not. We're just for fun and art. There's no real propaganda here. It's just all about fun and art. So.
Sure. And I kind of like the contrast of this, cute panda in this, mech suit thingy.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Compared to Pedo Bear.
Yeah, right? I see those two face off, right?
I'm not sure what that is, but...
yeah.
Cool. Arthur, next question.
Next question. Okay. So, what got you into drawing or painting, being an artist?
Well, actually, my dad's an artist, and so I had always just kind of, drawn and, messed around with art, but it was never anything that I do for a living. And one day I just decided, I was like, I hate having a boss. I hate working, for, minimum wage or whatever. And so I just took a risk and I quit all my jobs. I had 3 of them at the time. And I lived in my art space for a little bit, but now I'm comfortable and things are picking up, and I love my life. I love working for myself. So
awesome, man! And that seems like the ultimate dream. So I mean, congratulations on that for sure.
Yeah, making toys and art for a living is awesome, right?
Totally. So speaking of your family, did you grow up from Utah, or what did?
Yeah, I grew up in Utah for most of my life. I've moved around a little bit, California, and a couple different places, but I actually really love Utah. It's got a huge support network for artists and.
Awesome. Oh.
So that makes me curious. When you say you quit all 3 of your jobs, like how did you feel at that time? Like when you were making that step, that transition from working 3 jobs to suddenly working for yourself. How was that?
Oh gosh, and it was in the winter time. So I basically moved into the art space, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but you have to take risks in life if you want to. Get ahead. And so I took that risk and it paid off, and it's, I'm so much happier doing what I am now than working those 3 jobs. You know what I mean? I actually work harder now for myself, but
yeah,
I'm happy doing it.
On the way over here, you were talking about how you're getting to the point where it's really hard to keep up with all your stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's hard work.
I can't make enough stuff, which is thank you to everybody out there who supported Pandapropaganda, especially in the beginning. I sold on, street corners and stuff, and thank you for, coming in and paying me, to basically be able to survive in the beginning, and now I'm able to do awesome stuff and enjoy my life. So.
Awesome. Well, it looks like we're going to take our first commercial break, so we'll see you back on the other side. All right, everybody, and we're back. Man, those commercials, right? Intense. All right, so if you're just tuning in, looks like the chat is starting to fill up on here as well as over on the Inception network over there. We're really excited for all you guys to join us. We have an amazing artist here, Basie, or also his artist called Pandapropaganda. We were just talking about a little bit of his background. He decided one day that he wanted to support himself on his art, and he took that big risk and is doing really, really well right now for him. So we're really excited to have him on here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to jump on the chat. We posted it on our Facebook, I believe. Did you post it on J-WAT's Facebook? If you could do that for us, that'd be awesome. You can also call in here. If you're local here from Utah, you can call in and ask questions at 801-254. What? Is that wrong? Yeah, but you just looked at me like that was wrong. 801-254-5855. That's the local one. Or you can go, if anyone who's outside of Utah, you want to call in, you can call in at 1-888-919-2355. Awesome. So let's see, where did we leave off here? We were talking about, just you taking that risk and starting to get, going out and selling your stuff. I guess I wanted to ask you. I guess we should. We asked a lot of people were asking that in the chat and stuff. What kind of art do you do? I know that's kind of a pretty big question. So, what works for you?
I started out doing oil painting because that's what my dad did. He does more traditional. But then I wanted to do obviously stuff like panda robots and stuff, and so I started doing kind of pop art meets traditional oil paints,
which is amazing, guys.
It's really fun to do for sure. And then from there I started doing screen printing, which is awesome because you can print on anything. I mean, old army shelves to suitcases to records is what I'm doing a lot of now, and it's such a versatile medium. It's awesome. So
cool. So what with that, knowing how you do things, what is it that inspires you? Because I see that you do Star Wars stuff, you do Batman stuff, but then you also have your Pandapropaganda. I mean, you have your Panda robots, you have your, I just bought my favorite. Well, I have a Pandapropaganda T-shirt on, which you can't see it, but I'll post a picture of it. It's basically King Kong fighting a giant squid, and then I also have. He just started doing these sweet. prints on records. I don't know if you call them prints. I don't know if I'm saying
Screen
it right.
print,
Screen
yeah,
print,
yeah.
okay. And they are amazing, and I can't wait to put these on my walls. So, but what inspires you to make what
So,
you do, I guess?
I don't know if anybody out there has read like the old pulp magazines, Men's Adventure magazines. All that stuff is awesome. They have I went to Japan and they had kind of a Japanese version where King Kong fights anything from an octopus to like giant fish or a fox man or stuff. And so like anything like that, this is super over the top, like that old World War II style meets like King Kong or whatever. And also I love to do like nose art. I screen print a lot of that. Like Cherry Bomb is one of my newest pieces, and it's a World War II girl, and she has like a knife and a gun and like a bomber hat and stuff. So anything in that genre I love doing.
Awesome.
One question that I wanted to ask Casey is
Basie.
Sorry,
It's okay.
Basie is like you. When did you feel like you first started kind of catching steam and being more successful and being able to support yourself? Like, was there a turning point for you?
There definitely was. The first year was kind of really slow and things, basically on selling stuff on the street and stuff, and then the second year it kind of created a following, and so after that hit, I was able to get an apartment from there and really start being able to support myself as an artist, and from there I was able to buy supplies, which meant I could do better stuff and get screen printing stuff and whatever I needed to do. So
it took you almost 2 years to kind of start getting to the point of like, oh, this is something people like, or this is or what, like, what did you do, if you could, in specifics? What did you do to get that following? Did you just have your art, or what did you? I mean, I think you're a cool person. I think that helped.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, of course I am. No,
yeah, right? All artists have to say that. Well, I started doing a lot of shows too, and people just remember you. And so in Salt Lake, like, they would buy something from me on the street, and then I started doing maybe like a farmer's market or whatever, and so they'd see me there. And then they would tell their friends. I mean, obviously you guys, you got a piece and you told all your friends, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then also, in the very, very beginning, in those cold winter months, I would put like little posters on dumpsters of like a Panda machine gun or something like that, just to kind of get my name out there. And that actually, like, so many people saw that.
Really?
And then, when they recognized that same call signal on my art when they see me on the street or in a show, and they would come over, and it'd already be familiar to them that way. So.
Yeah, I think the first... Oh, sorry. Did you want to say something?
I was going to say that sounds almost like real propaganda.
Yeah.
But no, that's good propaganda, though.
Yeah.
So what I...
No, you're fine.
Well, the first time I heard about you, and maybe you can talk a little bit how you got involved with this, was there's a store up in Sugar House, and it's called Unhinged, and one of my friends took me up there, and you have like your own like section of like... And, they moved to locations, but you get to sell your stuff out of a store. How did you get to that point and make that deal with having your stuff in a store?
Well, once I started doing screen printing, I realized, hey, I can put some of my art on T-shirts, and that can help spread the word and stuff. And so I started making... My first T-shirt was actually a panda with a machine gun and a panda robot. Obviously, I'm doing Pandapropaganda stuff. So I started doing T-shirts, and I went into a shop one time, and the owner's name was Corey. He's a really awesome guy, and he's like, well, he immediately took a chance on it, and because so many people in Salt Lake had kind of seen that call sign and stuff, they started to pick up the shirts, and then it started getting momentum, and we started carrying art and more T-shirts, and I was able to kind of go from there. So Unhinged is a really amazing store. It has a lot of local art, local brands there, and it's in Sugar House. You'll have to check it out if you get a chance.
Do you know the address? If not, we'll look it up.
It's right by Whole Foods. It's on, I believe, 1100 South and like 20.
Okay.
1100 East and 20 something South. So.
And the thing with everyone out listening there, especially local people, they have a lot of art that you see at Comic-Con, and you're at Comic-Con, which we'll talk about as well. So if you see some really cool article of clothing, you're like, man, I wish I could have got that, and then they sell a lot of the stuff that I've seen at Comic-Con there.
Yeah,
so that's a good place to go and
or
check
if you see something at Farmer's Market that you like that's local, they'll usually carry. I mean, they're friends of the local, and so
which I've seen you there a few times too at the Farmer's Market.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Awesome. we kind of wanted to talk about Comic-Con then, since we're kind of on the subject anyway. What was the, I guess with Comic-Con, that tends to be a pretty popular thing that we talk about here on the show, because here in Utah, I mean, it's crazy of how popular it is. Like, no one expected it to be as popular as it is. Yeah. So how has Comic-Con affected you, if at all? I mean, how has Comic-Con affected you, or how do you feel Comic-Con has impacted Utah?
Comic-Con's been amazing for Utah, I think, because there's so many artists out there, and it's just a great way for you to, there's so many nerds too in Utah, and I love it because pretty much I do nerd art, and I do, pop art and stuff. So when I found a venue that would sell and cater to that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So my first year I went and I did better than I had done at any other show, and so I was like, this is for me. And plus, I mean, there's so many people in costumes, and it's amazing to go to, and just basically everybody who is a nerd shows it at Comic-Con, and it's amazing to see all those people come together. So
yeah, cool. Has there been? I mean, I know you're usually really busy at Comic-Con, so I'm sure you don't get to go to much of what's going on.
Well, everybody walks past it. I mean, there's a solid line of people, and I get to just watch all these different people in different costumes, and I've gotten to sneak away for a couple panels and stuff too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, check out.
What kind of panels did you get to see?
I've obviously Star Wars, Ninja Turtles. That's kind of
nice.
Stuff
okay,
that I love.
Right, totally.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. So, was there any was there any celebrity or anybody you were interested in, or anything that came?
I've always loved Castle, the show, like Firefly. Okay. I mean, Nathan Fillion, stuff yeah. So getting to see him at Comic-Con live, he's actually really friendly, and he's not a stuck-up star. He's almost like he is in the shows. So it was so cool to see him. So
awesome. Would there be anybody that you would like them to bring?
I think I would like to see Kaylee from Firefly. Okay. That'd be cool.
There you go.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, she's fun.
So you said that you mentioned Ninja Turtles. So I'd like you to talk a little about what you like about Ninja Turtles, but I also am curious what you think about the new Ninja Turtle movie.
You know what? The new Ninja Turtle movie, I mean, so we grew up, right, with the cartoons, and then it turned into the live action, and the new Ninja Turtle movie actually makes me really happy because it isn't the same, right? And you can't expect it to be completely the same because it's a different time, a different era, just kind of like Star Wars, kind of changed a little bit. But I'm so happy because they're spreading the word again, and it's, Nickelodeon has obviously the Ninja Turtles too and stuff, and it's different, but the storylines are still pretty good, and they're spreading it to the next generation, which I love because then, I'll be able to talk to my kids or whatever about it, and they'll actually get what we're talking about. So.
Yeah, I was, I know it wasn't directed by Michael Bay, but it was produced by Michael Bay, and I'm not a huge fan of Michael Bay.
Yeah.
But I was actually, and I did go in with pretty low expectations, but to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying it was an amazing movie.
Yeah.
But I liked it more than I thought I would. So,
I've got to say, not only did I go in with low expectations, I refused to go. Watson here dragged me into it. And I actually enjoyed it a lot. I was like, wow, I thought this would be an F. It's more like a B. Hey, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, and to see Ninja Turtles on the freaking, theater again, that's awesome. Last time I saw that, they were in trench coats, and it was awesome. So.
I really love the elevator scene where they start beatboxing and stuff. That's my favorite part.
Yeah. My favorite part when he's like, oh my gosh, there's a cat playing chopsticks.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, with chopsticks.
So we kind of wanted to, and this might be a really weird question, but we kind of wanted to think of your thought process because you have a sorry, I got distracted for a second. But you have a Star Wars guy, or Darth Vader. So, sorry, I am totally messing up that question. I just got really distracted by Ninja Turtles all of a sudden.
As we all do, right?
Right. So, let me go back and say what I was going to say. So, you do a lot of art in the style of being like you mentioned, the magazine or what you mentioned.
Yeah, pulp art or men's adventure magazines, yeah.
How do you approach So, like for example, Darth Vader. You have I believe one art that is Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you say, okay, in my mind, I want to make Darth Vader. I want to make a Pandapropaganda Darth Vader. What is your process of thinking of how do I make it?
So
way?
screen printing is a key element in that, because screen printing was done a lot in advertising in the 70s, and it was like super simple, three color tones, and it just makes for such a pure, clean image. And so, I mean, so I'll think Darth Vader, and then obviously you throw in some pulp art, put a machine gun in his hands. I mean, what could he do with the bullets and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then I screen print it, and then I'll do like some spray paint in the background, so it gives it kind of that pop art. So it's kind of a mix of pulp art, pop art, and like, you know, some of the iconic images that we all grew up with. So
Gotcha.
I do that and my own art. Like, you know, I love making my own mashups, like a Panda Robot or whatever. So.
Gotcha.
Well, I've got to ask, since we're on the subject, there's a particularly awesome print you have that is a female, like, X-Wing pilot or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you like you say, you're a Star Wars fan. I was just wondering, like, is that based on a Star Wars character, or?
Yeah, there's, if you've seen Jaina Solo, like, she's kind of like an expanded character, so... I've always loved her as a character, and I want to do like kind of an ode to her or whatever, you know, just to kind of like do my own take on what she would look like, and that's what that is. So.
Cool. And I was just wondering about that. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a character. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars and all the books. Well, I didn't quite get to the new Jedi Order series, but what do you think about like Episode 7 and kind of how they're rebooting the timeline? I mean, are you happy about that, or?
I am, man, and like, even if, you know, I actually felt like they did a really good job from what I've, you know, of the feel, you know, and stuff. And so as long as they're promoting Star Wars and they're not completely, you know, doing something crazy weird, you know, then I'm happy that they're getting Star Wars out there, you know. Yeah,
from the trailer that we got to see, what was your favorite part of it?
Oh gosh, there's so many. But seeing a lot of the old ships, like, and stuff was freaking. Oh yeah,
that Millennium Falcon comes swooping around.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
that was totally awesome.
Yeah.
We actually had somebody send in a question not too long ago. They asked, do you do requests?
I do actually do a lot of commissions, as long as it's nothing totally crazy or off the wall. But you know, if you have a really good idea, I love actually doing, you know, commissions and feeding off different fans' ideas of, you know, different subjects and stuff.
Okay, and where would they get to
just on Instagram,
okay.
You know, at Pandapropaganda SLC, you can contact me.
Awesome. You should do something Back to the Future. Moving on.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my favorite movie of all time. So, hoverboard, don't tease me. Yeah. All right. What is the... Well, before we get that, we're going to have to take another commercial break. Sorry about that. Got to do it. So we'll be back, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hello, and welcome back to the Game and Movie Empire Show. I am Arthur. I am here with Watson.
Hey.
We are here with Basie. Say hello.
He's busy.
Well, I mean, Basie's here.
Hello, sorry.
Or otherwise known as Pandapropaganda. And we were just talking about his art. One quick thing I was supposed to tell you guys was, Basie is giving away some of his prints. So if you just want to go ahead and email us, that's...
First follow him on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah, sorry. First follow Basie on Instagram. So that's Pandapropaganda SLC on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram, and then you can message us. I guess, through Facebook?
No, just send us an email and do that at Watson at JWATproductions.com, and that's JWAT 1T productions.com, and make sure you mention your Instagram handle. I don't know if that's what you call it. Your Instagram, so that we can check up and make sure that you were following. He's got a really awesome screen print here. And he's got a record print, which is super cool.
They are cool.
And Pat can say. And then we also have one of his mech pandas that he's got. I mean, you guys want to get on this. I'm telling you right now. Awesome. So, we were going to
All right.
jumping back.
So let's start off with, like, what are some of your favorite things to draw or paint?
Basically, like, anything that I've seen when I was a kid, obviously like Ninja Turtles, Star Wars or something, they all play a part of that. But then I also like a lot of different, a lot of my art composes of like robots with animal heads or people, too. So like anything that I see as a child or any of that pop art and stuff kind of gets mixed in with my view and my stories and stuff. And then it becomes like its own entity. And so you'll see tons of crazy mashup things and just, it's kind of across the board and tied in with pulp art. So
That's awesome. What is the? I know it's probably hard to pick one, but what would you say is like if you have a favorite painting or like a favorite? What is your favorite? Oh, is that it? What's your favorite that you've done?
one of my very favorites it's called Panda Kong, and basically it's this giant panda bear. And if you've seen the old like King Kong stuff, the colors on the old comics, everything is beautiful. So I've tried to kind of recreate that feel, and I have a giant panda, and he's holding like this, hot chick or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he's stomping through the forest, and it just has that same kind of feel. And I've always loved that. I've always loved how those old comic books, the colors, everything is just so amazing in them. So that's one of my favorites.
Oh, cool. We're bringing it up now. Maybe we can post it on our... Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and it kind of looks like a comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way
It's a 30
sweet.
cents.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah, throw that on our Facebook so people can check it out. That's awesome. Well, cool. Oh, go ahead.
I am curious because this kind of makes me think Edgar Rice Burroughs. Are you a fan of any of his work?
I haven't heard of him, but I'm sure I'm not very good with names though. I've looked through, a lot of different artists and stuff.
Gotcha.
Names aren't my
He
thing.
did like Tarzan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yep. All right.
Great. So that was cool. I was actually expecting to be like, oh man, but I understand why that's your favorite. That's pretty
Yeah.
sweet. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, and you mentioned the, and sorry, a few people have messaged us and emailed us. Once again, that number to call in and ask questions, local here in Utah is 801-254-5855. And if you're not local and you still want to call in, the number is 1-888-919-2355. We actually had a few people message me on message J-WAT on Facebook because they want to call and ask questions. So hopefully we'll get that too.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you like to do, when you talked about that you were at that you went to California over a week or so. Tell us about those toys that you've been, or I don't know if that's appropriate to say,
No,
figurines
yeah.
or, tell us about those.
There's no other word for it. It's like, your toys, your old Simpson toys or, Ninja Turtle stuff. That's kind of the all-encompassing word for it. But, they're made completely different. I use a process where, I cast them by hand in resin and stuff, and then I hand paint all the detail on it. So,
Awesome. So it looks like we have a few callers. Do we want to take a call? All right. Hello, you're on K-Talk, Game and Movie Empire. How are you?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Who are we speaking to tonight?
This is Jeremy Heaps.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. Do you have a question for us, or?
Yeah. So I was just wondering, with the artists and everything, everyone kind of has their beginning and what they do. So what was like the first moment of inspiration that made you want, that you wanted to do that?
Oh, good question.
I would say it just there's a moment when the idea just starts in your head, and it honestly was with pandas. That's why I'm called Pandapropaganda. That's my subname. But I was just talking to my brother about it, and we were just thinking, what if we did this really cool panda robot? And that's the moment that it just kind of took a life, and everything was built around that in the beginning. Obviously, now I've branched out a little bit, but that's when it started to, just take on life. So when you actually created it, did you kind of see yourself like, oh, this is going to be
what I'm known for. This is going to be kind of like my...
No, I actually just loved it, and I was hoping other people would. And I had no idea if it would pick up or not. I mean, it's a panda robot, and so where's that? I had no idea, but people they really dug it, and they really liked kind of the style of art I was doing too, and so it did take off, and people actually, the reason I kept doing it was because it was so successful.
That's really cool. I like it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Really good questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah,
care.
you have a
Good
good night. Keep messaging me on Facebook.
Want another one?
Yeah, let's take another one.
Okay.
Hey, you're on Game and Movie Empire, Fringe Radio. How are you? Hello?
Pretty good.
Ah, who's calling?
This is Scott.
Ah, Scott's one of your biggest fans.
How you
Gotta
doing?
say that.
I'm really good.
Awesome, man. What do you got for Basie here tonight?
Well, I got a really big question. So, last year I bought at Fanex, I believe it was Jana Solo, the one screen print you did of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, are you a big fan of the expanded universe of Star Wars, or are you, did you read a lot of the books?
I haven't read too many of the books, but I'm a big fan of Jaina Solo, so I would say yes. When I found out about her, I started researching some of the other characters, and I love, Mara Jade is another one of my favorite ones, but yeah, I love the stories when they started going deeper, you know what I mean? You can really start picking up some details and some awesome stories.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I really, did you, read any of the other stuff, like Luke reestablishing the Jedi Order?
I've read a little bit of it. I really want to get some time. Honestly, I haven't had very much time to, ever since this took off, it's just been crazy. So, I was, researching Jaina Solo and some of the other ones, and then it just blew up, and so I haven't had time. But as soon as I do, I want to go back and, totally read into all of the, all of the expanded stuff. So.
And I think that'd be a good idea, just because a lot of people like Arthur are very sad about the expanded universe not being able to, be included in the new movies.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. I think a lot of people are going to like that.
Yeah.
So any other questions for him?
I do have one. So I
Okay.
also have a shirt that I bought for you, from you.
Oh, you bought me a
And,
shirt?
Yeah, no, I bought a shirt from you. I didn't buy you a shirt
No,
unless
thank
you
you.
want it back.
No, you can have it. So you paid for it.
I'm just wondering, do you do any other stuff like that? Like, if I brought you a jacket, could you screen print something?
Which shirt in particular was it?
It's the K-Cat one. Or, actually, I can't remember
The
which
Salt
one it
Cat?
is. Yeah, the one with the chick on the bomb.
Was it Lady Luck?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay, that was one of the oldest shirts, and I actually have done some people have brought me some leather jackets or some bomber jackets, and I do customs like that. It's really fun to see,
Kind of cool.
how they turn out, especially if it's the World War II stuff on a army jacket or whatever. So
That's awesome, because I have a jean jacket that I'd like to see something on.
yeah, dude, yeah, I'm down. So you can just hit me up on Instagram, or you're my neighbor too. So
That's true.
He basically stalks him. No, just kidding, Scott. Awesome, Scott. Thank you for your questions, man.
Of course.
thanks,
Have a
dude.
good one.
We'll see
Yeah.
you. We'll see you at home.
Yeah.
Awesome. He's a great guy. We really love Scott. He's awesome. Well, cool. Those were really some cool questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Scott, though. Definitely Mara Jade. Do you have any of her?
Yeah,
Maybe you can.
yeah. That's next on the docket. So
Awesome.
Awesome.
You know what? I was going to ask you if it's okay.
yeah.
Your paintings are very, they're kind of abstract, but they're so
Yeah.
cool. They're really amazing. Have you ever considered, let's say taking a person, let's say someone sends you a picture and doing an abstract on this I've never seen a painting done on a record album.
Yeah.
And for those of you that obviously can't see it here, it's just got a cool feel to it. It's so different. It would work in any kind of environment. I mean, you could, who would think to paint on a record, but you could put it in a formal setting, depending on how it's done. And have you thought about doing abstracts? Because people, that's kind of the cool, kind of a newer thing I'm noticing. Abstract, kind of not crazy stuff, but just out there stuff.
If I ever get married, will you do my wedding announcement?
Yeah, definitely. But
do the whole wedding.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
No, dude,
awesome.
it's actually awesome that you brought that up because I thought about screen printing abstract because with screen prints you can lay down several different colors, and so to incorporate that into the background would just be awesome. I mean, like doing scraping like different shapes and stuff, and then doing your images on top of that. Yeah, like.
So could you do like when you screen print these? Could you do like let's say a background and then do like, if you want to call it personalized art for somebody, and then lay that on a common background that you normally do?
Yeah, that would be really awesome.
Cool, I get 10%.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'll write you in. No.
I just think it's cool. The record.
No.
That's
Speaking of that and
Thanks,
support and stuff like that, you mentioned you wanted to thank somebody else, Urban.
Urban Art Gallery. They have a shop in the Gateway Mall, and they also picked me up very early. Actually, one of the owners saw me on a street corner. He bought a couple pieces. And he's like, "This stuff's really awesome," and they were willing to bring me in from the beginning too. And so I wanted to say thank you to you guys for doing that. Again, that's in the Gateway Mall. It's called the Urban Art Gallery, and they have a section for some of my screen prints and T-shirts and original oil paintings. So.
Way cool, man. We are blowing up with all this stuff going on right now. This is awesome. You guys are. I'm really. Thank you so much for supporting him. He's one of our favorite artists. Sorry, I just kind of got a huge explosion here.
So, you talked. I mean, obviously, we've seen your vinyl prints, screen prints, and seen some of your like little. You call them figurines, or like
mashup toys, or
mashup toys.
Yeah.
And, sorry, real quick. Are you going to end up selling them, or are you not selling them at all?
Yeah, I actually have sold almost every one. That's why I don't have any available. But
because I went to Comic-Con, I was like, I want to buy one, and then you're like, these aren't for sale. I was like,
I had 3 left at that point, so I had to
that makes sense.
But yeah, I started out with one called the Dino Duck. And basically, it's a duck body, and then I've incorporated a T-Rex head onto it, and I cast them in resin. They're just basically like art sculptures out of plastic, essentially. But they're awesome to paint too. So I mean, it's basically you can paint a painting on a toy of a dino duck, and it's just yeah.
Okay.
So are you hoping to mass produce those then?
I have been, and it's been crazy.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what he was doing over in California, right?
Yeah, I was making a bunch of figures there and kind of getting the word out. There's a huge culture that people who grew up collecting Ninja Turtles and stuff, they also want to see like maybe a Ninja Turtle with a Darth Vader head or something like that.
Oh, sweet.
And so I'm just messing around with mashup stuff like that's awesome.
I wasn't like a huge Ninja Turtle cartoon fan, but like every year for
figures
Christmas,
were awesome.
Yeah,
huh?
we got all of the toys. And like, what's fun is because like if their arms fell off, you could like put them on.
Yeah, mash them up
toys.
with different or put a Barbie, like a Ninja Turtle on a Barbie head or something like that. They were both made by the company where you could switch them out.
Yeah, like Sid from Toy Story.
Yeah. Well, not quite as creepy.
Right, yeah, try not to be as creepy. Well, we're about to take a MSN break, and then we'll be back here. But really quick, I wanted to ask you another question. With your location, because, I've seen you at the Farmer's Market, I've seen you at Comic-Con. Do you tend to try and, do you sell different things depending on where you're at, or do you bring all your stuff?
Well, I always have the art with me because that's what I started out with. And then if you ask me if I have T-shirts, I usually do. I just sell a lot of them, so I actually keep them under the table a lot of the time now. And if people know about it, they'll ask me about them and get them. So
there you go, a little secret for you.
Yeah, right. And then the toy thing is fairly new for me, the 3D world, and so I'll have steadily more and more of those available. So
okay, cool. So you bring everything. Well, you bring basically everything you've got.
Yeah.
Nothing really sells more at one place than another. That you tend to get. The same?
Well, it just depends on the convention. I want to do Decon, which is it's basically to have local art and just also like vinyl toys and different things like that. And so I think the toy thing is going to be huge there. But
and is that here or where is that?
It's in California.
Okay.
And you can just look up Decon is it'll give you all the information. So
nice, that'll be really cool.
It's a designer con. So
Designer Con.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, this is the awkward moment where we have literally a minute left before we take a commercial, and we need to
sing
film
a song
it somehow.
or-
Yeah,
You
we
got
could sing
30
a song.
seconds.
We have 30 seconds. Well, in 30 seconds,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja
It had to be
Turtles.
done. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Turtles in a half shell. Turtle power.
I will say that I am sculpting a panda robot, and so it's going to be 3D. And once
So
that's
like
done,
that,
it's
your
yeah,
print?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. If
that's
it's in the works,
awesome.
so when that's done, that's going to be an awesome figure or whatever. So
Awesome,
Cool.
very cool. I can't see the timer over there.
NBC
so.
News is up next. We'll be back on the other side. Stick around. A lot more to cover tonight. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Fringe Radio and Game and Movie Empire. The whole gang from Game is in the studio. And hope everybody is having a great weekend. Weather is, it feels like winter out there. But March is just a day away. So things will, they've got to get better. And again, your work is just amazing. This gentleman's artwork is very good. I've never seen anything like it before. So again, my hat is off to you. You can hear Fringe Radio here every Saturday night live from 6 till 10 Mountain Standard Time, 8 o'clock until midnight Eastern. Of course, we want to say good evening to all of our listeners that listen to us on Global 24 Radio, Global 24 broadcasts in the international shortwave band at 93.95 kilohertz via our broadcast partner WRMI Radio Miami International. If you'd like to get a QSL card, you're listening to this show and you want to send in get a QSL card, send in a report, go to global24radio.com, fill out the information, and they will get a very unique card back to you. Of course, all of our listeners that are listening to us up and down the Wasatch Front, Utah County, Davis County, everywhere around the area on good old AM 630. And, of course, the whole gang's in the chat room at Inception Radio. You can go to inceptionradionetwork.com. You can find Fringe Radio on the website at fringeradioshow.com. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well. Again, the call-in number here in Salt Lake City, 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. Or if you're out of the area, you want to call in and ask our guests or hosts a question, give us a call at 1-888-919-2355. That's 1-888-919-BELL. And that number is provided to us by the great folks at Inception Radio.
Awesome.
All right, and we are back. Thank you so much for that, Pat. I am Arthur. I'm here with Watson.
Hey, guys.
We are here with Basie,
hey,
also known as... I can't do it. I can't say it.
Pandapropaganda.
Is that like, so is that your store or is that like an alias?
It's basically like my art brand. So
okay,
like,
your art brand.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
better to say. Cool.
Yeah. I was a little tongue-tied there. I was just like... One thing you mentioned a little earlier, and I wanted to ask more about, is you mentioned your brother and kind of... do you work at all with him, or do you just... How does that work?
So my brother is more into the music scene, and so he's the musician and I'm the artist. But we always throw ideas back and forth. And so when I want to talk about art or whatever, I always ask him about it because he can really understand what I'm talking about. And then if he needs some input on music and stuff, it goes back to him. So
That's cool. And you said your dad did art too. Is that right?
yeah.
What was his style of art?
He does more traditional. He does landscapes and stuff. He's does realism. He's an amazing artist. I can't touch what he does, but yeah, he started me off. So
Cool. Well, we have a few little more questions focused on your art, but then we really wanted to just kind of get to know you personally and like your likes and dislikes and your favorite TV shows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So what is your favorite thing to print on? Because, you're starting to, you have these records, you have T-shirts, you have your prints, but then, in the car, he had this huge metal thing, and I was like, "What is that?" And you said it was
it's like
shelf?
an army shelf from an old army depot. So
Oh, so cool!
Yeah.
and he had a print on there, and it was super awesome. So what's your favorite thing to print on? First, tell us what's everything you've printed on,
okay.
if you can.
Well, I mean, anywhere from obviously it starts with T-shirts, and then I've done a little bomb. I've done anything army I love. Like I'll go to an old army scrapyard and pick up anything. I love printing on scrapped metal because it just has such a beautiful vintage feel with the screen print
Totally.
on top of it. Yeah, records are one of the newest things. I love vinyl, but you know, it's fun to do.
Yeah, me too.
So.
When I found out that you were doing records, I was pretty excited. So it's a sweet idea. Let's see here. Are you hoping to is there something that you really want to do that you haven't tried yet, as far as maybe either printing or like, you know, you just started doing toys? Like, is there something that you really want to try?
Well, as far as the screen printing, I've actually started looking into like getting like a slab of an old airplane and stuff and doing some screen prints on that. And I have one. I haven't tackled it yet, but that's where I want to go in that direction.
Does it have to be like super straight, or can you do a little curve?
With screen printing, the way I build the screens, if I want to be able to curve them, I just do it a little looser. So, I mean, you can print around a slight curve. It's definitely doable. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a car?
You know, you can do a car.
You could do anything is basically what you're saying.
Would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, hood would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, pimp that stuff out, right?
How would you do that? Would you have to take the entire hood off?
No, you could actually leave it there. I would just have to. The thing with screen printing is you got to lay down some some primer and some chemicals so that it you know can stay permanently. But yeah, man, once you lay that down, you can print on anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and wow. So that probably cost me like $4 million.
Yeah.
So. Well, I better start saving up now because that's something I want. So awesome. One thing before we get. Oh, did you have another one?
Well, I don't know. You're going.
Well, I was going to ask you, and you kind of already mentioned it. I was going to ask: is there? Can you give us a sneak peek of either like what's about to come out, and you know, I mean, if you're not to say, but I mean, could you give us like what to expect from you from the future and what we're hoping to see?
Awesomeness.
Awesomeness.
No,
I agree with that.
As far as like the 3D stuff going, like I was telling you, I'm gonna actually try to work with somebody in Japan where I'm gonna have the Panda robot that I'm sculpting is gonna be produced in vinyl. And if you know about anything about vinyl toys, it's a tradition that started way back in Japan, and it's only pretty much done in Japan. So they're done in these little 2-people factories, and so that's something that's coming up. It's vinyl toys for me eventually. I hope so. Yeah.
And you're gonna, is that where the Panda mech thingy's coming from?
Yeah, it's gonna start out in resin because that's more. I can do that here in the States, and then eventually it'll go to vinyl.
Sweet.
And then I want to start doing jackets as far as clothes go, like doing more of the army jackets.
That'd be awesome.
And then just anything I start to find, I'm gonna start kind of traveling the States and find some really cool vintage stuff to print on. So
cool.
So is that what you do? You like go to a thrift store or like a scrapyard, like you're saying, and be like, I want to print on this. I want to print on this. Like, how does that
totally
usually...
like, especially old junkyards or anything that has like vintage stuff. It's just so beautiful when you get a print, like an old screen print of Cherry Bomb on like an old army. I actually printed on the trunk of an old army Jeep at one point, and I did Cherry Bomb, and so like just when those two elements combined is just such a beautiful piece once it's done.
Oh, totally. That's way cool. I love that you can take something that's considered junk, and turn it into something as art. That's awesome.
Well, because the junk already has a story. It already has that feel in it. And it was in World War II. Obviously, the screen print wasn't, but it's like what it's already saying that it's been through that, World War II, and then you add your art to it, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, that's way sweet. Well, cool. So now we want to kind of get more into just you personally. I mean, obviously, if your art comes up during the conversation, then awesome. But let's talk a little bit about. Well, actually, I wanted to ask you a question, and this does go back to your art. But would you ever consider doing? A lot of our fans here are very into comic books and things like that. If someone ever approached you and said, "Hey, I have a really great idea for a comic book. Would you illustrate it?" Is that something you're ever interested in? Or
if I have the time, I definitely am interested in that. I've had a couple people. We've started to talk about stuff like that, but it's always fun to bring somebody else's story to life and kind of give it my own take and my own feel.
It'd be cool if Cherry Bomb got her own comic book.
Oh, yeah.
That would be sweet.
Maybe where she meets Panda Robot or something, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Now, is Cherry Bomb your character? Did you invent her?
Well, obviously there's a song, right? Cherry Bomb.
Right.
But yeah, the character Cherry Bomb I came up with myself, and I actually started writing a story for her. So
now, she
patented
I haven't padded in. I need to really get on that. But I mean, I've been
too late.
Yeah, too late. Okay. Well, I guess I better come up with something.
I was just curious how
do
you do that, because I know like the girls from Hellskate. I think those characters are Chris Bodley does those drawings.
Right.
And I think those are painted. I was just curious if there is, when you come up with a character. And I was going to ask a question about the comic book, or even comic records would be so cool. Could you imagine doing a series on all those records?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But do you patent something like that? If you,
I've started to patent like my Panda machine gun, actually, because it's one of the first images. But that's actually a really good idea. I probably need to look into. So.
Do you ever feel like maybe you have to worry about people kind of stealing or taking your images and trying to sell them there? Have you had any problems with something like that?
Well, I think it kind of depends. If I've actually had some kids in high school start to do their own little Pandapropaganda because they liked it so much, and I don't really care. I mean, if they're spreading the word, it's fan art and stuff. It's like if some huge company took that from me, then I would be pissed. But if it's any fans or whatever, it's awesome. That's what fan art is kind of spreading your word and their own intake of it.
Well, and for example, with that, not too long ago, there was somebody who was taking other people's art here locally in Utah and taking them and putting them on like phone cases and things like that, but like on an Etsy store, and it was actually pretty successful, but it wasn't their originals. But I guess we'll get to hear about your feelings after that. We'll leave you on a cliffhanger and see what you have to say. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. See you on the other side.
Hello, and welcome back to Game and Movie Empire. I am Arthur. Today I'm here with Watson.
I'm back, y'all.
And Basie.
Hey, what's up?
Also known as Pandapropaganda. I said it right this time.
We also have Pat here.
I was getting to Pat. I was. Yeah. So right now we are talking about favorite things. Packages tied up with string, puppies. Anyway,
is that a Sound of Music reference?
Yeah,
is that what you're trying to? Okay,
I'm working on it.
Duly noted, Arthur. Duly noted.
Did anybody see Lady Gaga sing at the
at the
Academy
Oscars.
Awards? Yeah,
yeah,
she did
that
a
was
good
it.
job.
She, it was surprising. I won't lie. I'm not like a huge Lady Gaga fan. I would never in a million years think that I would ever see the image of Lady Gaga hugging Julie Andrews. Like, for some reason, I was like, what is that?
What a good money-making thing. I mean,
I guess
she
so.
made the millions or billions on the Young group, and now she's touring with Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
But
the
also, I don't know who else out there is a fan of American Horror Story, but she is going to be the star of American Horror Story, and I love American Horror Story. I don't know how I feel about Lady Gaga yet, but I think she's creepy, so I think she could do pretty good there.
I think's going to pull this stunt next?
Who's that?
The Biebs is going to do this next, trying to reconcile himself.
Well, he's doing the roast. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, and he's on Ellen every other day, and sorry to me.
We could talk more about that, and coming up here. So, awesome. So let's talk about. Oh, well, we didn't get to finish. How do you feel about people taking other people's art and trying to sell it like for phone cases? Does that bug you, or maybe not?
If it's to make money, that's all they want out of it. It does bug me because that's.
maybe if they ask you permission or something, but
yeah. But if somebody wants to kind of do their fan art, that's you go to Comic-Con and you see so much fan art.
That's true.
That's what it's about. But if it's just different if like a corporation or somebody's like, oh yeah, I just want to steal this direct image, you know what I mean? Then that's when you're like, okay, that's not cool. But other than that, I think fan art's awesome. That's what
cool.
Totally.
Obviously, you kind of do a lot of fan art yourself, you might say.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how does that work? Like, are there legal kind of issues with that? How does that part of it work?
At Comic-Con, I haven't heard of anybody really having problems with that, as long as it's their own interpretation. They're just not scanning something or whatever. And there might be areas where you could get into trouble. I'm not saying that everybody should go do it, but from what I've seen at Comic-Con so far, I haven't heard of anybody that really we're all kind of small right now too, and so it's all these little people making their own views on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I'm a millionaire, I'll probably get sued for,
Because you can actually give them money.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess, okay, so now let's, your art is totally awesome. And, like I said, if you're just joining us, we're here with Basie, Pandapropaganda. Check him out on his Instagram, Pandapropaganda SLC. Follow him on there. We're giving away free prints. He has a sweet record, and he has a print that he's giving away. So follow him on there, and then email us at watson@jwatproductions.com, and we'll get those to you. So, and also if you want to ask him questions, you can call in at 801-254-5855. That's for the local Utah people, or you can also call in at 1-888-919-2355. So let's get to know you a little more personally, like we were saying. What are some? What is your favorite movie? Or I know that's kind of hard question, or favorite movies.
I love Quentin Tarantino stuff. Like
awesome. I was actually going to think that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, based on what I paint and stuff, you could probably guess that. But I really like Drive. I like the feel to it, the flavor of it, stuff like that.
I really like Drive too. And the thing I like about Drive, it's not a normal movie. Like like the beginning is like super dramatic and like very, there's a few little actiony stuff.
It's almost like a love story at first,
right? Yeah, and then all of a sudden
it really
it just
is.
does like a 360, and all of a sudden we're in this action, like gory movie.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty awesome. I really like that. So cool. What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
I honestly really like his flavor, and so I don't really set myself to like a favorite one. I really like anything like his, that he does. I really love.
I'm really excited for the Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
his new one.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. I've always thought when I was seeing his movies, like he should do a Western, and then he obviously did Django.
Yeah.
Which was
my gosh,
awesome.
And the music in that too was amazing. So
beautiful. I loved every moment of that movie. And so I'm glad that he's doing. But I don't know if you've heard this, but there's a rumor that that's going to be his last movie, and he wants to retire.
Oh no.
That's the rumor going
That's
around.
not a good rumor.
I know, because he did quote that. He did say
either
this will be his last movie, Hateful Eight, or he might do Kill Bill 3, and then
I'll have to stock up on all the old stuff then and just keep watching that. Right?
Yeah. My favorite Quentin Tarantino is Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah,
that's one of his first. So a lot of people are like, well, that's not as like crazy, like crazy or like quick or like. Yeah. But I like it. I think it's a really cool story, and he still blends in his music really well, and that's just my favorite. What is your favorite, Arthur?
Probably Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Just kidding.
we could say that on the radio, right?
I don't know. Inglourious.
It's a movie title. So
Yeah. Have you seen any Quentin Tarantino?
All of them.
All of them. What's some of your favorites?
I like the Kill Bills. I like the second one more than the first one, but then
that's interesting.
But then I do like the first one too. Reservoir Dogs is good. That's kind of where Steve Buscemi got his start too, I believe.
Yeah, he started doing a lot with him, and kind of went out there. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a good one. So, have you seen any recent movies in this last year or so that you've really liked or enjoyed?
Any of like the sci-fi movies I really enjoy.
Like Interstellar, or a little more.
Interstellar was amazing, and like the story, the music, everything they did a really good job on. I felt like.
Yeah, totally. What about Guardians of the Galaxy? Did you see that?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a really fun story, but I really like when it's a little bit, I don't know, like it wasn't as awesome for me as Interstellar. Okay. I would, if I were to compare the two.
I get you.
Do you prefer like more realistic things?
Yeah, exactly. Because I love
Have you seen 2001: Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
Is that kind of more in your realm?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
cool. So it's just based on personal preference, So.
I got you. What about Alien?
Yeah, loved Alien.
We're big on Aliens.
Yeah. Okay, so we're reading.
Yeah, and we're actually going to talk about that in the next hour about Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp.
Have you heard about that?
I haven't heard about that.
So the director of District 9 and
Chappie and
Elysium. His next movie is going to be an alien movie.
That's awesome.
That's going to be awesome. Really excited about that. Okay, cool. What about TV shows? Obviously, Ninja Turtles, I guess.
Yeah, I love that as, a kid growing up. I think we all watched that. And if you didn't, you should probably rewatch them.
Right.
I started to rewatch some He-Man stuff, and
Okay.
like you go back in some of those cartoons that were awesome when you were a kid, you're like, whoa, this stuff's, it's made for kids, and so like the cartoons look awesome, but you're just like, holy cow, this stuff,
Yeah, some of them just don't age as well as others.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's what people say at Comic-Con too. They're like, we went back and rewatched that, and we're just like, 20 years later, it's not as, it still looks awesome, but.
I gotcha. And you mentioned Firefly.
Yeah, I love Firefly. Oh my gosh,
awesome. Yeah. What anything else with any recent things that you get into, or are you currently?
I liked
watching?
Oblivion. That was cool. Like I actually don't have a TV, so I go to the movies more. Yeah, right. Artist budget. No. Yeah.
He is a sandwich, man.
Yeah,
We had a question that came in, if I could jump in for a second.
Go ahead.
Salt Cat and Cherry, do they have alter egos? I mean, like Bruce Wayne and Batman? Or
yeah, Salt Cat's kind of the more, you know how Batman skirts the line of good guy to bad guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's Cherry Bomb's more straight up. She's like the Superman, pretty much. And then Salt Cat's
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
The Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Exactly, yeah. Where Salt Cat can kind of skate the lines, get the job done. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you mentioned you have stories for Cherry Bomb. Where can we find them, or are you still working on them?
I'm still working on that. Eventually,
Okay.
I'll get some comics and stuff. One of my earliest characters that I haven't ever brought up is a bomber panda, and his name's Lucky Jack.
Sweet.
And he actually, has a lot of that's where I started out too, and so I can't wait to get that more down. But he's got some interplay with Cherry Bomb, like where they'll go on like a little army mission or something together. So once I get that stuff together, all the characters will kind of blend together. And Salt Cat and Cherry Bomb don't like each other, stuff like that. So
Awesome.
That's
yeah.
really sweet. Cool. Go ahead.
How about video games? You gamer?
Yeah, obviously, like everybody has played Halo, and I went through my Halo phase. I also played Mech Warrior because I love robots, and so I was playing on the computer way back in the day when it first came out, and it was super slow, and you had to like load every a little bit, So that's what I started out with.
Awesome.
Have you by chance? I think you'd really like the new Wolfenstein game. Have you seen that at all?
Oh yeah.
I've seen like
Check
the
that out.
the clips and stuff. I haven't played it yet, but
What do you think about like the design of like?
it's awesome.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
design nowadays is so cool, especially when they recreate some of the World War II looks and like the mechs and stuff they can do now. It's just phenomenal with all the detail and the paint and stuff.
Yeah, definitely way cool.
There was that. What's that new game coming out, Arthur? The one that it's like done in like old cartoon, like Disney cartoon. It's a video game. Do you know what I'm talking
Video
about? And it's a
game.
side scroller. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's like an old cartoon looking feel.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, we need to find out. I think you might like that one too. But yeah, I would definitely agree. Wolfenstein's really cool, and it's got that old feel and almost like steampunk-ish, I guess, kind of, just because Nazis. But cool. So, what other hobbies do you have besides art? Do you do anything else that you enjoy or anything?
I love going hiking and I play soccer and stuff. I don't get to do much of that right now, but yeah. I also love traveling. That's where I get a lot of my influence.
Okay.
Art differs from city to city and from country to country, and you just get all these amazing views that different people have on it.
Where's your favorite place that you've been to?
Japan.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Some of their old stuff is amazing.
Oh
Their old
yeah,
comics.
I think the first time I saw you, or I don't know if it was the first time, but one of the times I saw you at Comic-Con, I bought like a Spider-Man something, I think, from you. I think.
Oh yeah.
And then you gave me some anime cells.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, those anime cells are really cool. They're like
Oh,
I
yeah.
think from the 60s or something. But,
Yeah, they're really cool.
When they
I
did
have them,
everything
like,
by hand.
saved,
Yeah.
far away, so that I don't want to ruin them or anything. So that's awesome. Is there any place that you would want to go to that you haven't been to yet?
I actually want to go back to Japan now that I want to do the vinyl stuff. So yeah.
That'd be really cool. Have you sold anything or at least shown off your art in Japan? Because I wonder how your feedback would be from them.
It's actually been really good. I've sold stuff to Japan, to Sweden.
Well, and I guess I know that pandas are in Asia, but are they in Japan?
They're in Japan.
Okay, well, there you
they
go.
Have crossed
so that's
the border.
probably something that's
they're huge in Japan. Japanese people love cutesy kawaii stuff.
Right.
So pandas fit
Kawaii.
right there. And, yeah, exactly. So.
That's really cool. Well, sweet. So, I mean, we talked about movies. I mean, is there any movies that you're looking forward to? We have some pretty sweet movies coming out this year.
A very good year.
Yeah. Is there any movies that you're excited for this year?
I need to get caught up on what movies are coming out. Like I said, I've been super busy, honestly. But anything Wes Anderson, if he's going to do anything coming out, I would look forward to that. Or
yeah, that'd be super. Did you see Budapest? Grand Budapest?
I need to see that one. I saw Moonrise Kingdom. I love that.
Really good movie.
My
favorite one is Rushmore.
Yeah,
of Wes Anderson. So, and Arthur needs to be educated on Wes Anderson.
Shame on me.
Well, I don't want to say shame on you because I'm really worried that you might not like them. So, because they're very obviously like his own style, and it's not for everybody. Well, but I say that, but then it was up for tons of Oscars this year, so which is always super cool. Yeah, I think. I mean, are you into much superhero? I mean, obviously you're into superheroes, but like, do you like the Avengers or anything like that?
Yeah, I like the Avengers and stuff. I
noticed you tend to like draw more DC characters.
Yeah, I love DC just because I love Batman and like kind of like the darker, but yeah, I can go pretty much for anything.
Cool. Are you excited for the Batman vs Superman movie that hopefully we'll see something from eventually?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, or what are your thoughts on that and them basically trying to I think they're doing it in their own way, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But like that DC is really trying to amp up their characters. What are you excited to see from them? Coming from movies,
I'm happy that they are gonna kind of like push some of the characters and explore different boundaries and stuff for each character. Kind of change up things because you always love the classics, but when they can kind of expand, you get to learn a little bit more about their stories and stuff. It's I love that. So
totally.
Do you have a favorite DC hero or villain or?
I like Batman. I mean, obviously.
Of course. Come on.
You gotta love him, but I love all their characters, and
Have you ever played the game, Batman Arkham?
I haven't played that one. No, it's pretty good.
We highly recommend that, especially how you mentioned that you do the expanding on their stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty cool, and it's very heavy on the villains.
Yeah.
So speaking of villains, commercials. No, just kidding. No, we love our commercials and we love our sponsors. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Basie. We'll see you on the other side. You are traveling into a world of time and space, or metal and
sound, but of mind. A journey into a
I totally messed that up, but I used to watch that show all the time, and I did have it memorized at one point. The Twilight Zone. Meet Gran. I was about to say Meet Grady, 29 years old, which is a Slim Shady song. Anyways, all right. So, Scott Lynn's on. Hello, Scott. How are you? Good to see you.
No. Scott likes Yoda.
Well, that's not his middle name. Anyways, we're here with Basie. Wow. Basie. That sounded weird. It's like it was like Baycee, which is not how you spell it. We're talking just some awesome things because he's an awesome guy. And if you're just joining us, like Scott is, I'm giving you a bunch of shout outs, Scott, on here online because I think you're online. Here on the radio because I think you're awesome. We're here with Basie. He's an awesome artist. We like him a lot. We think he deserves to be a bajillionaire with his art because it's really cool. So if you're just joining us, we're sadly coming to the last half of the show with him, but we want you to go check him out. If you want to win some sweet, awesome prints, go follow him on Instagram, which is Pandapropaganda SLC. And once you do that, email us saying that you've done it, and just make sure you put your Instagram handle. It's always embarrassing when you mess up in front of a huge audience. But yeah, and then make sure you also put your Instagram handle, and that's Watson at JWAT.Productions.com. That's JWAT Productions.com. So we were just talking about movies and what we're excited for and things like that, and then we ended on something, and then we went to commercial. We really should remember these things.
Maybe write them down, take notes. Yeah.
But we did remember of the game that we were talking about, and it was called Cuphead. And if you guys like really old animation, this is something that you should check out. We'll have to we can maybe do the trailer, but it's basically a game that's a side scroller, but it's played as if it's like one of the old Disney cartoons or just old cartoons in the day where like it was just music and not a lot of sound. It's really cool. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, we were talking about what are you? Oh yeah. Yeah, he's showing that off. So yeah, what were we talking about? I feel bad and ridiculous that I don't remember what we were talking about.
Villains, then.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about Batman, and we were going to say something, and I was like, oh, we left it on a cliffhanger, and then I don't remember what we were saying. Oh, well. Well, okay, so you mentioned Batman, and you say Batman's really, really awesome. Have you gotten to Gotham at all?
Mm-mm.
Me neither. I really should. Everyone gets upset at me that I haven't.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's kind of hard when I already have so many TV shows I try and keep up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I will eventually watch Gotham, but
When we're older and we can rest, we can go rewatch all of
yeah,
them.
exactly. And when they're done and stuff. So, totally. What are let's see. Wow, I was trying to think of something and then see once again. You guys all make fun of me when this happens, but it is a lot harder than it seems. Because
you come on the radio and try it.
Yeah.
Don't tempt them.
You can call in though, like really.
So you guys were talking about video games, and I love like how some of the old MechWarrior looks, and that's another influence that I had like on some of my art. And so there's a picture of the Panda robot right here. I wish we could post it or whatever, but
Yeah,
just some of that influence. That's
We'll
another way that I was influenced. You know, from
Is it on your Instagram somewhere?
yeah, it's probably towards the bottom since it was older, but
Okay, we'll find that for sure. Yeah, something I wanted to ask you. Do you have any certain artists that you enjoy?
I mean, obviously, when you first start out, like Obey is like something you're drawn to, especially with screen printing and stuff.
Okay.
And then you can kind of move on. There's an artist named Nikos, and he does some amazing stuff I believe it's like in Germany or somewhere. I should know that, but yeah, just like any of that graffiti, like some of that pop art, some of that street art. You take elements from each of those different things, and it's so raw and it's so beautiful in the colors. And then you mix that with comics, and it's like it just spits out a whole new kind of art, and it's awesome. So.
Totally. What about music? What kind of music do you like?
I'm across the board. I'm actually starting to get into some of like the old, like country stuff, like Western.
Interesting.
Because like, do you remember like Mars Attacks, that song that drove the aliens crazy?
Yes.
I actually like the song.
Oh yeah. So,
yeah, so just stuff like that. Some of the old slide.
There's a song that's been stuck in my head, and maybe you guys can help me out. It's older. I don't think there's any actual singing in it, but it's like da na 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 na. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
I have to find it. Now I sound like a lunatic, but when you mention that, and every time I hear that song, I'm like, that needs to be in like a Western or something.
Yeah,
and it's
well, and like you know how Django took some of the old school music, and
totally.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
like,
the titles too
some
are
of that
super like old
beautiful,
school.
yeah. Even though it's like you know,
Yeah.
but you got to go deep for it. So
That song was from some of the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns.
oh sweet,
What's that? You got one?
From the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, like The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
oh,
Those
yeah.
are good ones, my friend.
Yeah.
Those are amazing ones. My favorite Western is a movie called Cowboys.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
So it has John Wayne, and it's one of John Wayne's oldest, or well, one of his last movies he did.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he made one more, I think, which was Alamo. No, I can't remember. But anyways, it's really awesome because it's about John Wayne, who owns a cattle ranch, of course.
Yeah.
And what he does is he gets a group of, well, all his workers leave him because they want to go to this gold rush.
Yeah.
So John Wayne is basically left alone. And he's like, well, I got to get these cattle to, where they can go and sell them. Well, the only people he turns to is these kids from like the local school.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so he has to, that's why it's called Cowboys. So he basically hires them, and they go on this trip, and like there's these bad guys that are trying to steal the cattle, and like I don't want to. Well,
It's kind of an old movie.
well, it's an old movie, and that's why I'm like I don't know if it's okay to spoil or not. But it's actually first for John Wayne. Something happens in it that's never happened in a John Wayne movie, but it is kind of a spoiler alert. And I'm just going to say it. If it was Breaking Bad like we did last time, we basically spoiled Breaking Bad for everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, we were pretty.
that was amazing.
We got ridiculed.
But
so
who hasn't spoiled Breaking Bad on the radio?
well, more on Facebook. But basically, what happened is it was the first movie that John Wayne died in the movie.
Oh,
like,
wow.
and so the directors or the writers like, are you sure you want to? Or are we going to commercial? Oh, okay. Sorry, I was like, what was that? But yeah, John Wayne was like, "Are you sure you want to kill me?" And he's like, "People are gonna hate you because it was like one of the only movies. I think it was that and Alamo were the only two movies that he actually died in."
Well, my grandma loves John Wayne, so she would probably hate that movie. So. She calls him the Duke. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. That's for sure. Yeah. So music. So you're kind of getting to the old country stuff. Is there any other bands specifically that you?
Well, anytime I was saying that I paint on vinyl, but I love listening to vinyl too. Like, there's a crackle, there's a sound that you don't get anywhere else, and so like.
Oh, I got something that I think you might be a little jealous of.
Yeah.
Some
the
guy
record from Drive.
No, that would be way too cool. But no, someone on. So there's a. First off, also we want to shout out to the Utah gamers out there. They have this awesome Facebook group for gamers, but then it's also they have a classifieds.
Yeah.
And someone posted that they had a vinyl of like the 1960 TV show of Batman.
Oh, nice. Oh,
And
yeah. I saw a picture of that. I think.
Yeah,
It's
and
pretty rad.
I got it, and I played it on my vinyl, and it sounds so cool. Just it starts, and it's like Batman, Batman. Oh, it's awesome. So be jealous, basically.
I'm jealous.
That's probably the only
It's
thing
there.
you can be. So,
Right?
so
It's not a contest, Watson.
I'm not huge into country myself, but if there is any country that, and I don't even know if I consider him country, but I really like Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash
That's
is
my
awesome.
favorite.
Yeah.
So, and I really like. I mean, I could.
Like the Glenn Campbell tribute they did.
I don't know if I heard that.
What's his name? Who sang his song? I Won't Miss You.
Well, I know the song.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was Johnny Cash?
No. It was Glenn Campbell's final.
Oh, okay.
He's got Alzheimer's.
Right. And I understood all that. Yeah, that was a beautiful song. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I really love Folsom Prison and all that stuff. So Walk the Line, obviously, but like for some reason recently, I've been in a really big like Johnny Cash kick, which is weird because like sometimes I just get in those weird kicks of.
Yeah, we listened to that from LA to Salt Lake. Just
Oh yeah,
and everybody in the car probably hated me for playing that so much. But
I usually listen to that stuff, and then I really like listening to. Like sometimes I just listen to like Quentin Tarantino's.
yeah,
like
well, see, and that's
stuff.
what I'm talking about by like some of the country, like the music to Django and stuff, like some of that, that old,
Like Jim Croce or
yeah, and even from the old TV shows, the Western, just like the music they played during that. That's why like it's just beautiful.
So someone's mic isn't working. Hello? Is that which one was that? Oh, was you? But yeah, I really like one of my favorite bands is the White Stripes.
Yeah.
And I feel like at times they kind of have that kind of style too.
Yeah.
And I get you. Seeing that, I think I understand. Like I don't like the all my exes live in Texas or anything like that. I like the I don't know, more
the tones
epic
and the sounds
like,
and like from like the old movies.
Django.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that stuff.
Yes, the epic awesomeness.
That should be its own genre of music.
Oh
So,
yeah, totally. Like spaghetti western country or something that. Yeah. What about you, Arthur? What kind of music do you?
I love oldies. So old like school country. Like I don't know if the Eagles do. Well, it doesn't matter.
This is what you like.
Yes. Okay. You got it.
What's this one? Oh, Good, Bad, and Ugly. That's right. Yes. And
Is that
sounded super
unbelievable?
sound.
There's something to this stuff. Like, you know what I mean? This is so
It's just like we should be like standing up like with
And our little cigars hanging out.
Yeah. This is like the music to my art. Like I did a Panther cowboy, and I would just have this playing in the background, you know? So
I have to. I really want to find that song that. Actually, I do remember what. Ooh, there it is.
yeah.
That part's beautiful.
Old time memories.
If you like that kind of stuff, you should play a game called Red Dead Redemption. It's awesome.
Do
It's
they,
a guy's-
do they put this in some of the gaming? It seems like some of the games that
well, like what I
some
say.
unique stuff in it.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption has this kind of music in it throughout the whole thing. So, whoever you were talking about, Johnny Cash, but I hear everyone now, I think. Okay, good. Thanks, Scott. Can you? Okay. Well, I'm glad you hear us. Cool. Yeah. Now I really want to find that song for you guys because that's what I hear. I'm going to find that song. So what? Oh, we're already short. Dang it. Well, I guess I can't.
So that vinyl record, or when we were talking about vinyl records, the vinyl record that we're giving away is actually posted on my Instagram. It's the Panda machine gun vinyl record. So
And
there's a picture of it.
It's so sweet. Yeah.
You can check it out.
And for our listeners that want to get your stuff, tell us
That's a
how we
good
go
idea.
about doing this.
The best way to contact me is just I've got probably like 200 pictures on Instagram, and if you see something you like, just send me a message, and if it's something I can do for you still, I'll do it. So, and that is Pandapropaganda SLC on Instagram.
Sweet.
Yeah, and you also sell them here locally in
Yeah,
Salt Lake,
at the
right?
Comic Cons, and then I'll probably be at the Farmers Market in Pioneer Park. So.
Do you know when that starts? Because I got to tell you, I'm addicted to the farmers market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you know when that starts up again?
I'm not sure of the exact month, but it's
Farmers
coming
market.
up.
It's not
Yeah.
just tomatoes and peppers anymore.
Exactly. It's sweet art too. So.
Yeah. I used to go when I found out about it. I would go almost every other week or so, and I would see you there all the time. So, yeah, I really love the farmers market. So.
And then you can check out Unhinged or Urban Art Gallery too.
Right, if
So
you're here
they're
local.
awesome. Yeah.
So
yeah, local. So
yeah, and if you're out, just get him on the Instagram and see what he can do for you, and then
Or they can contact you, or even send us an email.
Yeah.
Through the show
exactly.
or whatever, and
Or
we'll get
whatever.
it to you.
We'll make sure we
with
get it
all,
to you.
with all the guys and artists and people you bring in, it's because your stuff's amazing, and
Thanks, man.
I love to see it.
Yeah, and the thing that I was telling you about, Basie, is like why I like this art is it's something that sticks with you. Like I was telling you, the first time I walked into Unhinged and I found out about you, like I saw your stuff and I was like, and first I really like old stuff in the first place, like in this kind of style of art, and I was like, awesome. And then like from then on, after I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a Pandapropaganda. That's a Panda. Like
you
when
could
I
actually
walked
tell.
out,
Like
I could actually
that's
tell.
awesome, man.
And I think that's what makes good art, in my opinion. Is something that sticks in your mind. That like if you were flashed a whole bunch of art and were like, okay, so can you tell which one is Pandapropaganda? And you'd be like, oh yeah, totally, that one. Like you can, and it's same that goes with movies, I think too. Like everyone could know what Quentin Tarantino
exactly,
or I don't know, M. Night Shyamalan because it sucks. No, just kidding. I really liked his old stuff as we mentioned before. But it looks like sadly
We're wrapping it up.
going
All
to
right.
the end.
Well, thanks for having me on the air, and I just want to say thanks for everybody who supported me. You guys are the one that make it so that I can actually make art and keep going. So.
Well, thank you. I'll have
Thanks
to
for
have
having
you
me,
back.
guys.
I can't see the
Thanks
timer,
for
so
your
you're going to
time.
have to do that for me.
Yeah, we got about 30 seconds left. Again, why don't you give us your Instagram
Do it again.
so people can
Instagram
get your
is
stuff?
Pandapropaganda SLC. It's just one word, and it's on Instagram. So.
Okay. Sounds good. Or contact Arthur or Alex or Fringe Radio Show.
Yeah.
And if we get any requests, we'll send the information your way.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on the air.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you for coming, Bath.
Thank you, guys.
You got a couple seconds.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to Fringe Radio Presents Game and Movie Empire. Had a lot of fun the first couple hours, and I don't know what the next couple hours are going to be, but I know it's
you have no idea.
Magic.
It's going to be good. Anyway, it's what it's all about, having a little bit of fun on a Saturday night. I hope everybody else is out having fun. Be careful. It's a little bit wet and nasty out here in Salt Lake City. And, of course, want to say good evening to all of our listeners who listen to us on Global 24, k-talk.com, KTKKAM 630 here in Sandy, Salt Lake City, and, of course, everybody in the Inception Radio chat room, Inception Radio Network chat room. A lot of fun with our first guest. If you want to call in and join in on the fun, give us a call at 801-254-5855. That's 801-254-KTKK. Or if you're out of the state or out of the country and want to call in, 1-888-919-2355. That's 1-888-919-BELL. Little technical difficulties, but that's okay. Anyway,
Don't judge me.
Yeah, we're not judging you. It's all good.
Not yet.
Next weekend on Fringe Radio, we have got two awesome guests lined up. Our first guest that's going to be on next week is Robert DeFuglio. He's an author, novelist, and a Titanic expert. He will be with us for the first 2 hours of the show. The second 2 hours, yeah, it is. It's going to be kind of a lot of fun. Edwin Thompson will be here for the second 2 hours, so we're looking forward to having Robert and Edwin on both next weekend here on Fringe Radio. Okay, guys, what are we going to do?
All right. Well, before we get too crazy, we're here, Game Movie Empire. Super excited.
Hi.
J-WAT. So we're part of Fringe Radio. This is the Game Movie Empire, but we also have our own YouTube channel and production company, which is J-WAT Productions. Well, recently we released a video which actually sparked a challenge. So first, we want to show the video and let you listen to it and encourage you to go check it out. So here's the video. It's called, it's me singing. I'm doing, Waddy McFly, doing a cover of Rent. It's called Your Eyes. But there's a little twist at the end. So, Pat, if you would.
Your eyes, as we said our goodbyes, can't get them out of my mind, and I find
Fall asleep.
I can't hide.
Oh, is this you singing? Yeah. This is very good.
From your
I didn't think you were this talented.
eyes, the ones that took me by surprise, the night you came into my life, where there's moonlight, I see your eyes. How'd I let you slip away when I'm longing so to hold you? Now I die for one more day, 'cause there's something I should have told you. Yes, there's something I should have told you. When I look into your eyes, why does distance make us wise? You were the song along, and before the song dies, I should tell you, I have always loved you. You can see it in my eyes.
So, we released that video, and one of our fans, hey Adam, how are you? one of our fans saw it and actually sent in a challenge, and of course, challenge accepted. So we're about to do a challenge singing for you, but we want to make sure we give our proper shout-outs. So this one goes out to Brad and John, right? All right. This goes out to you two cool cats. Here we go. Go ahead. Let's hit it. Yep, let's hit it.
You sure this is the right one?
Yeah, this is the right
Oh,
one.
it is.
Positive?
Oh, yeah. Let's do this.
Really?
We're going to hit commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, can you...
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Every night I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to dream them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide in Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, in a world we must defend. Gotta catch 'em all so true. Our courage will hold us through. Keep me and I'll keep you. Okay. There you go, Brad and
I hope you're happy,
and
Brad.
John. All right. Well, enough being goofballs.
Well, that was very different.
Well, you know, we get these challenges.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
We think it's fun little. What are you looking for, Miguel?
Nothing.
Okay. Well, everyone, it was awesome having Basie here, like we were saying. Always awesome to just spotlight awesome local artists and things like that. So really, please go and check him out. And once again, thank you, Pat, for letting us make a fool of ourselves there for a second. And yeah, I mean, if you guys have any challenges for us, don't be afraid to send them our way. So the first thing that I guess we wanted to address, which isn't on our schedule, but that's because we made this before everything happened. Let's talk about Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
So really kind of shocking news that happened.
Died at 83, I believe.
Yes. And we can't forget this beauty.
Little Bilbo Baggins.
Yes. Oh, I think Pokemon's still playing.
Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy did it. Yeah. This dancing is ridiculous. Can anyone tell us how this song got started?
Isn't Bilbo Baggins a character?
Well, he's from.
Yeah,
he's from,
I mean, the book's quite old.
He's from.
Well, I'm sorry, we didn't know that. No, we do. Well, he was.
He's in Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings was way back when.
Oh yeah, yeah, Tolkien book from way back when. Yeah, but I just thought, I just don't know why that's. Why is he getting all fresh with that?
I don't know. It's an interesting video that people need to take a look at. But yeah, it is sad. I mean, again, I think science fiction fans in general are going to miss him because he was, just an interesting character, and it seemed like an all-around decent guy. No big egos, kind of like that other guy that's on all the programs with him. But kind of sad. 83 years old, but I think he led a very, very good life.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, he seemed very appreciative of his fans, and the fact that he would come in, and do a little cameo in the new
Both
movies.
of the new movies,
yeah,
right?
I mean, that was really cool to do because sometimes people can be real jerks about what they did in the past. So that's really cool that he would do that. So here's to you. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, really kind of sad. And I know the new movie, and we can talk about that a little bit if you guys want. The new movie that's going to be coming out, I think him and William Shatner were both going to do kind of some cameo-type stuff in there. That was kind of the talk, but...
it's hard to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And
I'm
the
sure
Shat
Shatner
being,
will do something.
83 or 82, he's, hey, we, any of us at that age, any of us at any age, but I mean, especially at that age, you're.
Yep. No, totally. I think Shatner will do it, especially after the recent events. I mean, he is kind of a, can be kind of egotistical, but I think he could do that. And then the rumors are sparking that Bryan Cranston is
going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, is going to be the bad guy in the Star Trek, which I'm totally cool for. Anything with Bryan Cranston in it, I'm totally cool for.
Yeah, too bad he got killed in Godzilla. Would have been nice to see.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's just say don't go see Godzilla if you want to watch Bryan Cranston.
You're right.
So because you won't get to see a lot of Bryan Cranston.
Right.
Yeah, it was that kind of disappointing, definitely.
But yep. So there's our little thank you to Leonard Nimoy. Live long and prosper. And I didn't even do that.
Yeah,
that just worked perfectly.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. All right. The guys from Game are all here tonight having some fun. Hope you are having fun with us. We'll be back on the other side.
Hello. Hi, I just signed up for your credit report site and I have a problem. I need to speak with your fraud resolution department.
Please hold. We don't have that. What should I tell the human?
Just make that super annoying modem noise.
Hello?
Classic.
Not all credit report sites are equal. Become an Experian.com member to get personalized help, plus fraud resolution support with enrollment in Experian Credit Tracker.
Every summer we go to Canyon Woods. Love getting outside. Love the hiking. Hate the itching and irritation from poison ivy, bug bites, all the things that keep me inside. So I need something strong.
Cortisone 10 Intensive Healing is clinically proven with the strongest non-prescription itch medicine available for fast, long-lasting relief of itching and irritation with 7 moisturizers to help heal skin.
I finally have the relief I need.
Hey, Jan, check this out.
On my way.
Cortisone 10. Feel the heal.
Hello.
Hi, I just signed up for your credit report site and I have a problem. I need to speak with your fraud resolution department.
Please hold. We don't have that. What should I tell the human?
Just make that super annoying modem noise.
Hello?
Classic.
Not all credit report sites are equal. Become an Experian.com member to get personalized help, plus fraud resolution support with enrollment in Experian Credit Tracker.
Every summer we go to Canyon Woods. Love getting outside. Love the hiking. Hate the itching and irritation from poison ivy, bug bites, all the things that keep me inside. So I need something strong.
Cortisone 10 Intensive Healing is clinically proven with the strongest non-prescription itch medicine available for fast, long-lasting relief of itching and irritation with 7 moisturizers to help heal skin.
I finally have the relief I need.
Hey, Jan, check this out.
On my way.
Cortisone 10. Feel the heal.
Game and Movie Empire, Fringe Radio presents. We were just saying our last goodbyes to Leonard Nimoy, and sadly lost him. Now we're going to move on with the show. So the first thing we want to talk about, we talked. If you follow us at all on social media, you know that I'm pretty excited about this. We don't need to spend too much time on it, but it is official. Spider-Man is going to be in the Avengers.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about it a few times, but now it's actually like a fish.
A fish, exactly. And for those who don't know, the deal basically means So basically, it's pretty sweet on both ends. I think it's smart, and I feel like it means that Marvel truly cares about its characters, obviously. And Spider-Man was one of the first, like Stan Lee, originals that he did and made up and came up with. So, but basically the deal is, Sony, Marvel doesn't have to pay for it at all. Sony gets certain merchandising rights or something like that, I believe. And also we're going to see him in one of the Avengers movies, but then also they're going to make a movie in 2017 of Spider-Man, but it's still going to be set in the Marvel universe. So, yeah, any brief thoughts about that? I mean, I feel like it's kind of beaten a dead horse at this point. Everyone should know about this. But any thoughts about it?
Well, the only thing that comes to mind is just like, I think it's great that he's going to be part of the Marvel movies again. But, like, another reboot of Spider-Man in how many years? That's a bit much for me. I mean, just make it as painless as possible, please.
Just a Band-Aid. Uncle Ben's dead. Great. Move on. Do we have a caller?
We do. I got a question for you, though.
Oh, great.
Now, I haven't seen the new... I saw the... Was it Tobey Maguire was in the first couple of them?
Yeah, the first three.
The first three. I've never seen the new Spider-Man. None of them at all. Is this going to be the same individual, or are they going to pull a reboot? And somebody heard, which is... Gotta be careful. Maybe Spider-Man, maybe...
African-American?
Yeah.
Well, the rumor, or at least what people want, I hear, is that they want him to be Miles, which is the African-American, and he takes over for, spoiler, Scott, Uncle Ben's dead. He kind of takes over for Spider-Man, or I actually think it's actually a rebooted comic book. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally cool with that. That's something that hasn't been touched, and I'm fine with that. What was your first part of that question, though? Oh, the first two.
Right.
So no, they're not carrying over Andrew Garfield as. Yeah, he's not going to be a part of the Spider-Man universe anymore.
So they're taking some pretty big, if you want to call it, liberties, because now these characters, even like in the Avengers universe, the days kind of Tony Stark and of Iron Man and the Hulk kind of in their little individual thing. I mean, now everything's changed. I mean, it's the world's been Loki came down and wreaked havoc, and everything is still a mess. And is there a crossover? Well, no, from in the Superman Batman environment, that was from General Zod doing all the damage.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're taking these characters totally, which is probably good, because how many times can you tell the Superman story, the Batman story, the Spider-Man story? It's got to go somewhere.
And I think it's a good idea for them to do what they're doing. So
take a call?
Good for them. Yeah, let's take a call.
Go ahead.
Hello, you're on Game of Movie Empire.
Hello,
how are you?
Hey, this is Lauren.
Hey, Lauren, how you doing?
Hey, guys.
Hey, what do you got for us tonight?
Question I have
Okay.
is, so this Wednesday, Robert Downey Jr., he tweeted out the first character poster for Avengers Age of Ultron, and it looks awesome.
Totally.
He also teased that he says in 8 days a big announcement is coming. What I want to know is, what do you think that announcement is going to be?
Well, do you have a prediction of what you think it's going to be? Because I have mine, but I would like to hear yours first.
Yeah, that's a good question. I honestly have no idea. I mean, Marvel has pretty much announced their movie slate for the next, 5 years. And so I really don't know what he's going to bring.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to mention Spider-Man yet. I mean, they have announced Spider-Man, but I don't think... me personally, I don't think that'll be the announcement. As much as I'd want it to, but I don't know if they'd have the story figured out 100% yet. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Lauren?
I don't think so either. This Sony Marvel deal feels like they're going to scramble a bit when it comes to Spider-Man and the MCU. My thought is maybe Iron Man, maybe the Avengers are going to make an appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. That's my theory.
Yeah, that could be good. And if it's coming from Junior, then it has to involve Stark in some way. I would think. Well, that's cool. You're really witty, Lauren. Can I just say that?
I haven't said anything funny yet.
Well, I'm just saying you should look into doing something like that in the future.
Something witty.
Witty, right? We're saying witty.
Yes, we are saying witty.
Witty. Yeah,
Awesome.
or like Utah say witty. So.
Yeah. Awesome, Lauren. Thanks for that. Any other things you want to say while you're here?
Hey, yeah, no, I'm just really, really pumped for Avengers: Age of Ultron. That
totally.
movie, from what I'm hearing from initial people who are talking about it, they're saying it's pretty much the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU.
It really does look like that, or the Dark Knight of the Avengers. You know,
I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, but that's all I had.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks
and
for calling.
Yeah, supporting our show. You have a good night, my friend.
You too.
All right.
See you.
Bye.
Now, I got a
Lawrence.
question for you.
Go ahead.
Isn't there a couple different versions of the Hulk? Isn't there?
There's a couple. Well, there's a couple different Hulks, I believe.
Right. Okay, maybe that was the right. I mean, of course, in the Marvel universe, there's Dr. Banner who becomes the Hulk. But isn't there other?
Well, there's She-Hulk.
There's She-Hulk.
There's like the Abomination.
Yeah,
like,
which is
And then
kind of
isn't
like
there a
Hulk.
Red Hulk too of sorts?
You know what? I'm not I don't know much of big into Hulk, so
Okay.
I can't
Well, just
say.
curious,
I'll have
it
to
seems like
research
a lot
Hulk
of
this.
Hogan. Is that what you're thinking?
There's Hulk Hogan.
Let me tell you, brother.
Yeah. Hulkamania is going to run wild.
What are you going to do when the Hulk runs over? No,
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of these characters have spun into different things, though. I mean, like with Spider-Man, there was a couple. Spider-Man took on a couple. There was a couple different versions of Spider-Man, I believe.
Well, yeah. They've rebooted the comics at least
like
once.
Ultimate Spider-Man, and there's Noir Spider-Man, and there's a bunch of other Spider-Man.
So there's, I mean, it can go any way you want it to go. I
Totally.
guess. Okay.
Yeah. Do we have a call?
Yeah, you want to take a call?
Yeah, let's take a
All right.
call. Hey, you are on Game and Movie Empire. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Charlie.
Hello, Charlie. How
got
are
a
you?
question. I'm a huge fan of all the Marvel and Avenger characters. Love it all. Spider-Man is probably one of my favorites.
Me too,
Do
man.
you guys know if Spider-Man is going to be depicted as the type of Spider-Man that Tobey Maguire played, or the one in the newer ones?
You know what
Which,
that?
what I'm kind of getting at is, will he have, like, web coming from his body, or will he have to scientifically make his own web, if you know what I mean?
You know, that's a really hard question. My guess of what they're doing right now, because the original comics, I believe, is he made the web. If and correct me if I'm wrong.
It wasn't the original, yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like I think they'll probably stick with that in some sense. But I do think that they're going to try something different. I feel like they understand that they need to make it interesting and not do the same thing over and over again. So I don't know. I hope we still have the same kind of quirky wittiness from, because that's what I liked about Andrew Garfield's characters. He seemed more kind of, I don't know. He seemed a lot more comedically funny than what's his name, Tobey Maguire. But that's just my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the aspects of Andrew Garfield's character, but the thing about Spider-Man is Spider-Man was kind of that nerdy guy, and I thought Tobey Maguire kind of played that very well, where Andrew Garfield was kind of more of like the cool guy, you know?
He was still pretty nerdy, but I prefer Tobey Maguire. I mean,
Which,
Sam Raimi's
you don't really hear that very much, just saying.
No. But cool.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for your insight, my friend, and thank you for supporting the show. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it. Thanks
Awesome.
for your call.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was a really good question, and I hope you continue to listen.
Take care.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
have a good night.
Thanks, Charlie.
It's always awesome when people call in and support the show, seriously.
It's funny, we were just going to briefly mention the whole Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, but it's obviously on a lot of people's
Well,
minds.
who isn't excited? I mean,
I
more
am.
Spider-Man.
I am.
We'll take it.
All right, we'll move to another one that might cause us to be there for quite a long time. So the Wall Street Journal dropped a bomb on everybody, and it caused quite a frenzy. They basically released a rumor, which Wall Street Journal is a pretty credible news reporting, so they must have trusted their source pretty well. But the Wall Street Journal reported that Netflix was in talk with Nintendo to bring a Legend of Zelda series to Netflix, which is very interesting. So I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about that, but that, to me personally, would be pretty awesome. And I think what they described it as, it would be Game of Thrones but family friendly. Not sure how that happens, but so I guess we wanted to briefly talk about what. And thanks, Lauren. That's what we assumed. So we basically wanted to talk about if we feel like Nintendo is going to go through with it with Netflix. Arthur?
Well, I totally support it because I love Zelda. And if you did it well, that's the only way I'd support it. But, you could do it more serious and, live action. Or I think you could do it in, a more cartoony, cartoon like the Clone Wars, which I thought was very well done. So, no matter which way you do it, as long as you do it well, I think that'd be great. But
but do you think Nintendo's going to do it?
Oh, well, that's an easy question. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. The reason being is I recently read this interview by Shigeru Miyamoto. He's one of the big head honchos.
Can you say that name again?
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Wow, good
he's
for you. Gesundheit.
Yeah. He's
He's shiitake mushrooms.
He's the father of all Nintendo franchises. Basically.
Excuse me. Anyway.
But in this interview, he was asked specifically about that type of thing because it was rumored Sony was going to make an animated Mario movie, which I think could be really cool, potentially. But one thing that Miyamoto said was essentially they get offers like that all the time, and obviously they turn them down. Maybe they were a little...
Well, you say obviously.
Well, how many movies have we seen of Nintendo properties?
Not very many.
That's why I say obviously.
Well, and the one time that they did, they really kind of screwed that up for them.
Which is a shame because...
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
That's just one bad
If you don't know what we're talking about. Taisley says that, she supports the TV show 100%. Me, on the other hand, this is what I think about with Nintendo. I think it should be live action, but Nintendo might disagree with that. I feel like it would be an awesome move for Nintendo right now. I think Netflix has created enough of its own original content, so House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, and they're releasing a few more with Tina Fey helping out with them. I feel like that Netflix is at a part that they could do it justice. And the great thing about Netflix is I'm sure that because they're not a huge network like other, companies, I feel like they can give it justice and that they could actually do all the things that Nintendo wants to do. Like if they're we don't want this, they could be absolutely, Mr. Nintendo, absolutely King Nintendo, or something like that. I feel like, and maybe that's why, I think maybe the only thing that would screw it up for everybody is the fact that it leaked. I think if it came out surprisingly and on Nintendo's terms, I think they would have been a lot more for it. But now that it's been released, and hopefully they see the excitement from it, which I'm sure they would. Even if they were TBS is doing a Zelda series, I'm sure people would be like,
that would be interesting.
Yes. But,
so
hopefully people will, as we've been talking about Zelda, a lot of people have been messaging me and tweeting at us about the new Zelda. And it looks like people are talking about it in the chat. The new Zelda for the Wii U looks amazing.
It does.
So, it could obviously piggyback off of that as well. And so, Yeah. Anything else you want to add with that?
I don't want to be like a naysayer. I'm just basing it. I see what you did there. Just based on past experiences. But here's the cool thing. Let's say this deal really is going through. It could be happening. Nintendo would deny it. 100% would.
Even if it
deny
was happening.
Yeah. They could be writing and preparing for it right now. But at the least, it'd be a year or two away. If it were true.
Totally.
So, that being said, it could be happening, and they would deny it. So, it's hard to say.
Totally. It is just hard to say. So we could talk forever about that. And don't get me wrong, we would love to talk about it. But we have so much to talk about. Oscars happened.
Yeah, they did.
So, best movie went out to Birdman, and we both got to watch it.
We did.
I watched it a little bit previous, and then you watched it just fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think about Birdman, Arthur?
It was very different, like unexpected. And one thing I appreciated is they didn't, even though it was kind of like a one-shot type movie, it wasn't completely, they didn't like hold to that to a T, like irritatingly so. Because you know how when you watch like Cloverfield, like, that was almost annoying the way that particular one was done, even though I really did appreciate, what they did. But Birdman, they did well. I guess we'll just have to...
Take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Fringe Radio and Game, back on the other side.
We are back. So that song was entitled I'm Not Gonna Miss You by Glenn Campbell, which was actually played... was in a Oscar movie and was performed at the Oscars. So that's why we figured we start off with that. Kind of it's a beautiful song, really sad, but beautiful song. So,
yeah, we were talking about Birdman.
Birdman, that's right.
I don't know.
Was it my turn?
I am Birdman. I am Birdman.
Let me just kind of recap.
Sure, go ahead.
I was hoping he was going to get up and say that I am Batman. Remember? I am Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like Birdman. So I thought it was really... I was very impressed by the way they told the story so fluidly. Like how you replace cuts with camera motions, and you find really good transition from one scene to another. And it just worked really well. And just impressive. Just because you have to probably do these very elaborate setups and very well timed. I've done little things like that when filming, but I can't even imagine something on that kind of scale. But yeah, very fun movie. Kind of somewhere between satire and like very true to real life.
Yeah, totally.
It's like a weird gray area.
It makes fun of our obsession with. It makes fun of our obsession with superhero movies, and like I don't know. It was. I feel like it was a really awesome, well written movie, and it definitely. What was funny is like when it first came out, people were like, "This is going to be so under the radar, no one's going to give it recognition." And then it won then it was nominated for Oscars, and then everyone's like, "Well, it got nominated for Oscars, but it's not going to win anything." And then it swept everything. It won like. I can't remember. It won
Best Picture.
Well, it won Best Picture, Best Director. It just won and it won Screenplay, I believe. It just took it, which was awesome. So yeah, and Neil Patrick Harris hosted. Gotta say, I love Neil Patrick Harris, but the thing with Neil Patrick Harris is I feel like he was trying really hard. And I know you didn't get to see it, the Oscars.
Chose not to.
Yeah, so it's not really his thing. Totally cool with that. But it was, I don't know, I feel like Neil Patrick Harris tried too hard. When he like improvised and was like talking to, just making fun of stuff as they came up, that was awesome. And yeah, and I am very excited that Whiplash got I think his name is J.K. Simmons, something like that. I'm glad he got Best Supporting Actor. That was awesome. I really need to see Whiplash. Haven't seen it. So yeah, overall, but I feel like it was a little off for some reason. I'm not sure if it was necessarily Neil Patrick Harris's fault or what, but there was a lot of interesting speeches and there was a lot of things like that. Daniel says that Whiplash did well in the awards, and it's true, and it's a masterpiece. And I don't doubt that. I definitely want to see it, so I'll have to take a look into that. So. Another thing I want to talk about what happened, and I don't think you heard about this, is John Travolta came out and was going to present something.
Yeah.
And when he's out there,
he tried to read something again.
He said, and I'm going to introduce the person who's going to help me do this award, and her name is, and I'm going to do it right this time. Wow, and now I'm worried to say it because I don't want to. Idina Menzel. Idina Menzel, and he says it right, and then she walks out. Oh my gosh, it was so... No, I did it wrong. Idina Menzel walked out and said, I'm going to have someone come help me, she totally butchered his name on purpose. It was so funny.
Hilarious.
But then what was so funny about it is he walks up and he's like, "Oh my dear sweet, I'm so sorry I messed up your name." And then Neil Patrick Harris afterwards, he wrote a joke on this magic trick, and he was like, John Travolta will be back in 2016 to redeem himself from touching Idina Menzel's face too much. It was super funny. And then all these pictures were coming up of like how weird John Travolta was for some reason, which is funny because I never thought he would be. He would.
Was
be
he?
weird,
Didn't he get
but-
some? He looked like he had some plastic surgery or something.
Well,
done
they
to him.
all do, don't they? So, man, we have so much to talk about, and we only have 10 minutes left. It's just for the movie side. So if you're just turning in, we like to do so we have our guest for 2 hours, and then the last 2 hours, our hour we focus on movies, and then the last hour we focus on video games. So I guess we're just going to have to pick. Well, we did want to announce Neil. Would you like to say that? Because that's pretty exciting.
Definitely.
We can't talk. Maybe we can't talk about it a whole lot, but go ahead and announce it.
Yeah.
Don't ruin my art.
I am going to ruin Watson's art pieces he got from Pandapropaganda. Okay. So what was it, like a month or two ago that we first saw this really cool concept art for an Alien movie by Neil Blomkamp. He's the director of District 9, Elysium, and now Chappie. And it was just fantastic stuff. And then it was just kind of like one of those dream projects like, man, it's a shame that movie will never get made. Well, it turns out that he now has a deal to make an Alien movie. And I love all of Neil Blomkamp's movies. I don't know about you, but like District 9, Elysium, like just for me, it's something that I haven't experienced in so long where a science fiction movie felt so real. You know, like that's what I feel he did when he did District 9 as well as Elysium, and that's why I'm so excited for Chappie. And an Alien movie.
See, and I don't like Chappie's posters. Like, have you seen the one where he's like holding the blocks? I don't know why, it just looks weird. But anyways, we're really excited about it.
Definitely.
It's going to be awesome. Look up the concept art if you're into Alien or you're into those movies that he suggested.
Now, is it going to be a
awesome.
prequel or a...
No. In fact, it's going to ignore the third and fourth movie.
Well, I actually heard that it's going to be like an Aliens sequel, and it's not going to directly contradict the third and fourth ones, but it's
not going to acknowledge them.
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
So it technically is like an interquel.
They going to have a Sigourney Weaver in it?
Well, here's
It's a
the
good
thing
question.
is Hugh Jackman, who's in Chappie, his new movie coming out, tweeted out a picture, Instagrammed a picture where it was him, Sigourney Weaver, and the director of this new Alien movie. And he was like, just chilling with my friends. And I'm like, that would be awesome if Hugh Jackman was in it with Sigourney Weaver. That would be awesome.
Honestly.
But see, that's the thing. If they did an Aliens or, an Alien sequel or whatever, she would have to be pretty young.
True, but if they pulled an Avatar and just kind of like recreated her face digitally.
Or Tron, I guess.
You know, I'm a little iffy about that. Technology is improving, so maybe they could pull it off better now. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. All right, we want to talk about Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
So we both saw Jupiter Ascending early.
We did.
And if you haven't seen it, it's directed by the Wachowski siblings. or the Rakowskis, as they like to go by, who did The Matrix and Cloud Atlas.
Speed Racer. V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Amazing movies.
So we got to see it early.
Yes,
Thoughts,
we did.
Arthur?
I loved it. Watson, how about you?
Did not enjoy it. I think, I did enjoy it. But there was a lot of things that I did not like about it. And so I feel like the story was really awkward. I feel like it was a little above Mila Kunis's acting. And I really loved the action and the characters in there. But I am seriously... I liked all the stuff that took place not on Earth. Everything on Earth just seemed really weird and awkward to me. Maybe it'd be better a second time. Sometimes that happens. But Arthur, what'd you like about it?
Well, first of all, I mean, to each their own, right? Judge not lest ye be judged. Whatever. Anyway, I liked it a lot. First of all, I'm a very visual person, and it's a beautiful movie. I thought it felt very fresh as far as... I mean... Yeah, maybe it's that type of thing has been done somewhat before, but I feel like it was different enough to justify itself. Whether or not you thought
it was definitely different.
Whether or not you thought the acting was good, I don't know. I didn't. I was cool with it, but yeah, I was actually really surprised. I've never gone into a movie that I've loved and come out and then heard everyone else hated it. I was like, what? I was really surprised.
Well, it was so funny too because we saw it early, and so me and Arthur went with his friend. And Derek, here's a shout out for you. I don't know if you
Derek!
listen, but hey, and
don't get stabbed by a prisoner.
Whoa, okay. And he's not in prison; he's a prison guard.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it was funny because I was just like, man, this was not the best movie. And I turned to Arthur and I was like, so what did you think of that? And he's just smiling and he's like, that movie was great. And I was like, really? Okay, well, good for you. And then as we're leaving, I can just hear people like, oh. And then, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a really bad score. A lot of people did actually give it a pretty bad score. So, but here's my thing. I've always learned this. Just because critics give it a bad rating doesn't mean you shouldn't go see it.
Oh, definitely.
If it looked interesting to you, go see it.
Oh, so, yeah, honestly, myself, I don't know if I'm easily influenced by other people's opinions. Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'm just a hipster, but
I'm going to say most of the time.
That might be true. But that being said, I totally came up with this opinion on my own.
You did. And I'll have to agree with that.
But, how sometimes it is everyone else hated it. So you're all of a sudden not sure what to think about it. So you go in to see a movie with maybe the wrong idea, and which may make it, better for you or worse, depending.
Yeah, interesting enough. So we're kind of running slow on time for this hour. Don't go anywhere. So we've noticed that sometimes when we end the hour, you guys kind of leave. But so we want to. Should we just jump to there? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
So recently, as you guys know, we're very big Breaking Bad fans, and a little series just started called Better Call Saul. We just wanted to give our opinions and stuff on it. Because we've seen every episode so far.
Yeah.
So, Arthur, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm just glad to be back in Albuquerque.
Well, and Breaking Bad's Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah. Man, you just missed that. I'm not I don't love Saul as much as I love Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. It's definitely a very different story.
But I like him more now.
Definitely, yeah, I agree. He's more likable now. Although I thought he was it's interesting, we had this conversation, and maybe sometimes, when it's been a while since you've seen something, you don't always remember all the details. But, I never thought of him as too bad of a guy. He's definitely, a criminal in Breaking Bad.
Totally.
But
it's cool to see his progression, though. It's really cool to see his progression. And what I love about it is it's still its own story. And what's awesome about it is that it's not playing too much on Breaking Bad. There's not a lot of callbacks. It's very subtle. And you mentioned how it was played off, and I think it was a perfect example of that. It was a slow burn. And that's what Breaking Bad is. It's a very slow burn. Awesome stuff happens in the episode, but it's still very slow and very awesome. I mean, there is cameos of the characters in there, And it's cool because we do get to jump around in Saul's life. So, we see him post Breaking Bad, as well as very early before any of that happened, and as well as, I think it's 6 years before.
I don't know if it says specifically.
I don't remember. But anyways, it's definitely awesome. If you guys are Better Call Saul fans, it is definitely a show to check out. So, all right, well, we're going to take a commercial break in about 30 seconds here. We're going to give out our prize. We're going to give out a whole game, DSX, the newest one, and it is awesome. So if you guys stick around for that, we're going to ask a question, and you guys call in and answer it, and we'll make sure to send you those Steam codes. And we're also going to be talking about a bunch of awesome video game stuff. So feel free to join us either on the chat or elsewhere. So we're going to take a break.
NBC News is next. Yep. All right, everybody, welcome back to Fringe Radio and Game and Movie Empire. We've had a fun 3 hours. So let's go ahead and pick it right up with the, what are we going to talk about now? Well, you guys can talk about. I don't know.
We're going to talk about video games now.
Video games. I'm lost. I'm out. I'm done. I'm out. Take it.
Thanks, Pat. You can stay.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming back. We are the Game and Movie Empire show. I am Arthur. I'm here with
Voluptuous Watson.
That's what
That's
I
my
call
new
him.
nickname.
Yeah. We are going to be talking about video games for this hour. First of all, you're going to want to call in for this. Well, that would be best. But we're giving away Deus Ex. I've got a Steam key for that. So if you have a PC.
And this game's awesome. And it's the newest one.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a subtitle, but just Deus Ex.
Director's Edition.
Yeah, the Director's Cut. But yes, so the question that you'll need to answer is what is the name of the actor who will be playing Aquaman?
And just a reminder, we take priority of those who call in.
Yes.
So if you call in, you definitely get a better chance at winning this video game. But if you would prefer, you can email us at watson@jwatproductions.com, JWAT productions.com. But the priorities get in the phone number, which you can give again.
And the phone number I did not give yet is 801-254-5855. Again, that is 254-5855. And for those who are not local, the number is 1-888-919-2355.
And who is the actor who's going to play Aquaman?
Yeah. So one more time, 1-888-919-2355. So
awesome.
Please call in. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to give you Deus Ex. That being said, we shall move on. Well, where do we want to start?
Well, an awesome announcement happened not too long ago. The new Batman movie is coming out, Batman game, Arkham Knight, and it's coming out in June. And a little awesome news happened today. Happened this last week. Rocksteady announced that the video game is going to have an M rating, or got an M rating, which all the other games up to this point have had rated T. So, and what was awesome in the article, it talked about that, they are understanding that it means it might, shut out a lot of players, because a lot of their audience was in a younger age. But that didn't stop people from getting Grand Theft Auto. No. And what I really liked about it is they focused on the story and that they didn't worry too much about rating, which is awesome. They did say they're shocked about it, so I think they still tried to make it.
Are there any X-rated games?
I'm sure.
I just was curious. I mean, if they have some that are really over.
I know that they made in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. They made Well, what happened was there was a bug in there that someone found out about it, and it made it so that it was A-rated. I don't need to go into detail, but it was called Hot Coffee Mode.
Yeah, but the thing is like basically none of the console makers will sell the AO adult only rating games on their consoles, so you can only get them on PC and Well, you'd have to look for them. Let's just say
Okay,
that.
just
Yeah.
curious.
But I think they are out
Yeah.
there. So, cool. But so that was there. So, what are your thoughts, Arthur, about having a and you guys out there in the chat or whatever?
Yeah.
What do you feel about having this next what do you call it? Next Batman, a
Arkham Knight.
Yeah. A-rated M.
Well, like for me, I mean, I think the first Arkham Asylum game was like, I mean, it was a great game. I loved it. And then Arkham City just went a little darker, as well as Arkham Origins. And so, like, honestly, they were more mature anyways. So I think that for whatever reason, like maybe because it looks more realistic, I think that's probably part of it, let's face it. Because when it's cartoony, you don't take the violence quite as seriously as when it looks more realistic. So, you know, honestly, I doubt it's going to be very different from the other ones. Maybe, you know, a little more cursing, maybe slightly more blood or violence or something like that. But I doubt, I mean, the developers weren't trying to get an M rating. They weren't necessarily super surprised, but that wasn't their intention. So, yeah.
Yeah, my thoughts, like I kind of already mentioned, I'm really excited that they just focused on story, didn't worry about rating, and they just told a good story. Like, that's at least what they're saying. You know, it could maybe not end up being good, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
But so far what we've seen, it looks awesome. I mean, you get the Batmobile, the Gotham is much bigger and
gorgeous.
And extremely gorgeous. I mean, being on current gen / next gen from the last games, it's going to look awesome. I mean, to be honest, all the Batman games look great on PC. Just gonna say, but I'm really excited to check that game out. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah,
and then
wait.
they just released a trailer that I showed you.
Oh yeah,
and the trailer's awesome. It features the storyline and who's all going to be in it, and obviously it's all the awesome villains and Scarecrow, and we see Two-Face, which is interesting because it looks like Two-Face, at least what they made to believe in the trailer, it looks like Two-Face and the Penguin are pissed off of what's going on. So I wonder why they're not. Penguin always seems to do what he wants to do anyways. He doesn't necessarily sometimes feel like he's in the mix of everything. So, but he still knows information and, you know, always has to go, or Batman always has to go through him to get what he wants. So, yeah.
My thing is, though, that, like, honestly, and I mean this, like, I think those Batman games were some of the best games, you know, that came out in this last console generation.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hands down, like, I loved them, but I'm a huge fan of, like, Metroid and Zelda type games.
Totes.
And, like, it's an interesting comparison, but they really are similar.
Totally, in a sense. Oh, goodness, sorry. I've been up for a while. But, awesome.
Awesome.
So Scott mentioned about Batman, another Batman that feels the same as the others from a gameplay perspective.
Well, I'm okay with that. It might
I
be
think
redundant.
they need some improvements. Maybe that's why they have the Batmobile in there. But hopefully that'll end up working out. So
yeah, but one thing that Daniel mentioned, too, that I thought is interesting is he just doesn't want it to be too dreary. And, like, I think that's kind of like, think about, like, The Dark Knight and, like, The Dark Knight Rises and, like, The Empire Strikes Back and now The Avengers 2. You've got some really kind of dark movies, but they're always so good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
We're a sucker for them right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were...
No, these games, I know I always see, like, if you look at IMDb, the actors... Then do they narrate the games too? So if you play a Dark Knight game, is it going to be Christian Bale that's going to be the voice?
It depends on the actor. They might.
I mean, is that pretty common that you'll?
Actually, not really. I mean, there's
depends on the game.
I mean, well, what I mean as by that is usually when it's from a movie to a game, majority of the time the actors don't transfer over.
Gotcha. Okay.
But
those are horrible games
However, a lot more video games nowadays are starting to go to big time actors. Like there's a movie that has Susan Sarandon that plays a really important part, or Rage has John Goodman in it, and he plays one of the biggest parts. And then Fallout 3 has Liam Neeson in it, and then Matthew Perry plays
one of the main villains in Rainbow. What am I saying? Fallout Vegas. So the movie stars are starting to cross those lines, and I think that's really smart idea to do.
Oh yeah. What I think is great about the Batman games in particular, though, is not every voice actor, but a lot of them are the original voice actors from like the '90s animated series,
Right.
which was really good.
Mark Hamill.
Yes,
there, right?
And Mark Hamill did do the voice for the first two.
Yeah, the first two.
The first two, Mark Hamill did the voice in the game for
The
Joker.
Oh, and phenomenal job.
Which, speaking of when I said Kingsman, Mark Hamill is in Kingsman.
He is.
So you should see it.
I will.
Oh, yeah.
So, next up we had talking about is Valve. You should lead on this one because I don't know too much about what's going on, although I'm excited for it.
Sure.
Please.
Well, so the cool thing is that GDC is next week, and Valve is going to have a lot going on there. The bad news, I'm going to be on a trip in Disneyland, so I'm not going to pay attention to
Rub
video
it
game
in,
news.
okay?
Yeah, I just
Rub
had
it
to
in.
say it. But yeah, so that's all that's going to be going on. And so the cool thing is depending on how closely you have been following Valve or Steam's Steam OS, Steam Box, Steam Controller, I mean, it's somewhere between ultimately it is a PC. A Linux-based PC type thing that is kind of directly, indirectly competing with consoles and PCs, somewhere in the middle. But I think it's really interesting what Valve is trying to do. It's giving you another option aside from just Windows, and obviously there's Mac, but that's never been a huge game kind of competitor.
Mac.
Yeah. But. So, they're talking about having some big panels from some big Valve developers, as well as maybe showing off Steam boxes, Steam controllers, stuff like that. Arturo, Mick.
Artissimo.
Yeah, whatever you want to call him.
And we're also here with the awesome Pat. He's the one who started the show. Once again, a huge thanks to him. So we were talking about Valve. Keep going.
And Steam. So, for those of you who may have missed, I'll just try to make it quick. GDC is next week, and Valve, they're kind of working on their own Linux-based PC/console with their own operating system, which is Linux, and then their own controller, that sort of thing. And we don't know exactly what's going to be announced. They have talked about showing off their final version of the controller. And it's really unique. Watson, you want to tell them about the controller? What you think about it?
Well, now, okay. Well, first off, I built a PC strictly based off of this, which I call it the Flux box after Flux Capacitor, Back to the Future. But the reason why I built it was because they were coming out with this new controller. And now I've only heard things that you've told me, but from what I can tell, basically what they want to do is they want to create a controller that can be used across everything, right? All their games, which to me is awesome because, I grew up as a console gamer. I didn't really play much of PC. I mean, when I was a kid, I did Roller Coaster Tycoon and Civilization, and that's about it. But I really have been a console gamer. So there's so many awesome PC games that, now on Steam, you can only use a keyboard, which, I get used to it. Like I played Mass Effect strictly on a keyboard and mouse, and I did fine. But I think it's a brilliant idea.
I also do. Just
tell them a little bit about what. Well, we don't know exactly what it's going to have.
Sure.
But the rumors, I guess, that they have for it.
So, it's definitely going to have these touch pads, kind of like on a laptop keyboard type thing. But instead of analog sticks.
You can't say this. They don't know what you're talking about.
I said laptop.
Okay.
But so they're going to have touch pads instead of analog
Technical
sticks.
comedy.
But so they're supposed to be more sensitive than analog sticks, and they're going to be more using a mouse, which is the one thing that most PC gamers think about using analog sticks. They just don't find them. They're just tuned differently, let's just say. And so it can be hard adjustment for specific games. But this controller, Valve is supporting it in such a way where, it's going to be very simple to basically come up with control schemes for older games without having to go through the pain of
and mapping them.
Yeah, like mapping controls for games with like 20 buttons is a pain in the butt. And so this is kind of going to fix a lot of that. Maybe not everything.
Yeah,
but
and they did announce the controller, and they showed off the controller, but now it's said to be different than what we originally saw it from. So it'll be pretty cool. I mean, originally it was just two big touchpads, wasn't it? And then, so that's interesting.
And the buttons were all in weird places, and then like they moved the buttons to the normal place, and now it's probably going to have an analog stick.
Gotcha.
And so like we don't know exactly what changes they've made, but it'll be cool to see.
So, and then another thing that they mentioned, or that is rumored, is that Steam might be coming out, or Valve might be coming out with their own VR. Is that correct?
Yeah, and so this is the thing that, like, I mean, they've been working with Oculus Rift a lot.
Right.
And
in fact, I had suspicions that I was hoping that Valve would be the ones to buy Oculus Rift, but I guess they didn't.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Obviously they didn't. Facebook did. So,
but
you can't. It's really hard to beat Facebook when it comes to money. So
seriously, they have a lot of money. But yeah, some of Valve's top developers left for Oculus Rift, and so like Valve has Steam VR is what they're calling it, and they haven't said if it's going to be like an interface, if it's going to be their own hardware, or what exactly it is. I mean, it could just be like.
So is it confirmed that they have some kind of VR project working?
Well, they're going to have what do you call it? Not a press conference, but a panel talking about Steam VR. So.
So it has to be something going on.
Yeah, so it may not actually be hardware. It may just be software to support VR.
Cool. Well, a lot of their games are first person, so that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. I mean, and maybe they will kind of go into like their new game engine that they've been working on for a while. And, maybe they'll be shown some gameplay of like...
They will never talk about Half-Life 3.
No.
But they might talk about a new Left 4 Dead, which would be cool.
Left 4 Dead would be
which
cool.
I know that they've been working on. That's what they said. So that could be really sweet.
So, yeah, it's hard to say. I mean...
But, totes. Totally. Anything else with that?
One thing I will say, just some people have been mentioning some comments. I was curious to look at SteamOS, and like I try to compare it to like a PS4 and Xbox One, and there's 4,500 games on Steam on the PC. 1,000 of them have already been ported to Linux, which I thought was pretty impressive, actually.
Sure.
But it's only 20%, and sadly, there's only a few like big games or like ones that are heavy graphically. Like we're talking Civ 5, Metro 2033, The Witcher, Borderlands, and like a few others. Like, but most of them are indie games. Great games. But like there's a lot of games on Steam on SteamOS, the Linux operating system, but not necessarily the ones you want. Not yet.
Right, totally.
It could take, 5 or 10 years before a big change happens. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe sooner.
But we'll be there, and we'll be
we will.
giving Steam our money every step of the Steam or Valve.
They've
every
already
step
got
of the
it.
way.
They've got all my money.
Totally. Totes.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Exciting. Fun stuff.
Next thing we want to talk about is... might have just been our games, if I remember correctly. Hey,
yeah, that's kind of where we are.
All right. Is that what's up next?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Arthur, what have you... you talk too much. It's my turn.
Yeah, you talk.
I'm just being funny. So games we're playing right now. Right now, I bought Majora's Mask. I also got Ocarina of Time, but then recently got Majora's Mask. And so, funny thing, I'm playing Majora's Mask, and I'm also playing Dying Light. So, thanks to Joey for letting me borrow it. And the reason why I borrowed it is because I was really worried that it wasn't going to be a good game, but I'm wrong. It's fantastic. Here's the thing, though. I found out I can't play two games at once. Like, I have really weird dreams. Just imagine Dying Light and Majora's Mask mixed. That's what I've been experiencing at night. And, playing a game in first person, it's a lot easier to have those kind of dreams. So, but they're awesome. They were epic dreams. But it's just that I would get into this mode of like, what should I play? Like, I'm conflicted. Like, I want to play them at the exact same time, but I can't. So what I do is I'm like, I get into this weird funk, and then I end up not playing any of them. And I'm like, and then I end up watching Netflix, and that's not, and you know, and I even feel bad about it. I'm like, I should have just played a game. I should play a game. So now I've decided I'm going to finish Dying Light, and then I'm going to move on to Majora's Mask, which Majora's Mask I'm also almost finished with. The really cool thing about Dying Light that I've really liked so far, and we have plenty of time, so I'm going to talk about it.
Go for it, man.
So I was really worried about Dying Light. What was awesome though is like you saw it.
Oh yeah.
You started off in this pretty big like place, but it was like underneath a huge bridge and stuff. And like I thought the whole game takes place there. So I was, collecting everything. I was doing all the missions there because I was thinking it's about to end. Then all of a sudden during the main story, it's like, all right, it's time to cross through the sewers to get to this other place. And I just thought, okay, it's probably going to be for a side mission. I go, and now it's an entirely different town. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So it's in Dubai, which it was where it's located.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we were wondering where that was, and that's where it's from. So you go from like the slums of it to the rich part of Dubai, and like, have you seen it? Have I shown you?
I actually
it yet?
haven't seen that. That
You
sounds
should see
scary.
it. It's cool. Like the buildings are really tall, so like if you fall, you're basically dead. And if you don't know what Dying Light is, it's basically a zombie game but free run or parkour.
Yeah, same thing.
And
well, it's not.
But it's awesome, and the story isn't necessarily anything that's super gripping, but I mean it's enough that it carries. Really, the gameplay of this is awesome, and like you have your own experiences, and like one time, and I actually recorded this, and you can see it on our YouTube channel, but there was randomly throughout the city you'll be running around, and you'll see these thug guys like that always try and steal your stuff and always try and they were beating up a survivor. So if you save them, you get points. So they're beating up this dude, and like I ran up and jumped, and I was like on top, and they turned and looked at me, and they're like, "Oh, come down and fight us like a man." And they're like taunting me, right? So I went back and I grabbed a throwing knife, and I threw it at one of them, and this was on top of a roof. Threw it at one of them, hit one of them. He was like, oh, and like stumbled back and fell off the roof. It was like, whoa! And then the other two dudes look, and as they were looking, I run and jump off and just am like being super awesome. And like I throw a Molotov and then just start. Whoa! See, I'm getting excited about this. If you could see me in person, you'd be laughing at me so yeah, I've been playing that, and I also been playing First Light. Because some reason I get, which is Second Son, First Light, the DLC. Because for some reason I get itches with that. So, but the next game I'll probably start playing after I beat all those games is going to be Knights of the Old Republic, and I'm hoping to record it and do like a game series of it. So, yeah. What about you, Arthur?
Cool. Well, first I want to say though that like Dying Light is a pretty awesome game.
It's beautiful looking too.
Yeah, and like if you liked games like Far Cry, then yeah, you definitely love it.
Yeah.
Or Mirror's Edge or zombie games, all the above. But me, honestly, I've been getting a little gamer guilt like Watson, where it's like I have this ginormous Steam back catalog. And it's like, where do I even begin? So it's like, maybe I can
start with Knights of the Old Republic. He hasn't played it yet.
Yes, I have not played it yet.
Seriously, it's Star Wars.
No, I love Star Wars. I'm not huge into role-playing games.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
But I could probably do Knights of the Old Republic.
But it's very simple RPG.
I've played some of it. It's just one of those things where I just stopped playing in the middle. Not because I don't know why. I just did.
I get you.
But yeah, like the games I've been playing are more indie titles and kind of like short and sweet stuff. That's what I really like. One I played recently was Gone Home, and I don't know if I mean it's been a pretty big popular game, and I just finally got around to it. I was very impressed by the storytelling of it. Like, it's a game where, you don't go around killing people. You're wandering through a house trying to basically figure out what happened to your younger sister, and you're just examining different things in the house, kind of learning the story of what happened. And yeah, it's surprisingly emotional and very well told, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
So I played Gone Home.
Yeah, and if no one knows who Adam Sessler is, I know you have a love-hate relationship with
I don't
him.
hate him.
Oh, well, sometimes you don't tend to agree with his reviews.
Well, I don't always agree with him, no.
I get you. Well, Adam Sessler is one of my favorite video game reviewers. Sadly, he doesn't do much anymore. But he gave it the best game of the year, I think, a year or two ago. And I think it was really good. I think they did really good at storytelling and building up to things. And I won't lie, I was scared for a lot of the thing because it kind of felt like a... And I think they did that on purpose because there was creaky noises.
Yeah,
there was certain things.
Kind of a haunted house vibe. But it's really... The cool thing about it is like if you just want to experience the game without being scared, you can actually... Like, there's a setting that keeps all the lights on if you want to do it that way.
Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting.
And I thought that was interesting too. I was just like, it's like they're not trying to force you to do something. They just want you to experience the story, however you would prefer it. But
totes.
Yeah.
What else?
Cool.
Anything else?
So there's that. Also, I've been playing a game called Tinker World of Color, and this is another indie game. The best way I can describe it, it's almost like it feels kind of like Mario Galaxy and Viva Pinata. Somewhere between that. It's a platformer, extremely colorful, very cartoony. It's a kid's game, pretty much.
I think you mentioned that you don't connect to it well. Is that what you were saying?
Well, the thing about it is like, and maybe...
How about we get to that in a second?
Oh.
Because we have a caller.
Oh, we have a caller. Well... Put him on the phone.
Wow, anger.
Please.
Hi, you're on the Game and Movie Empire show. How are you?
Doing good. It's Daniel Wood. I just wanted to call in.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to call in about what I've been playing.
Dude, that's great. Tell us what you've been playing. I've seen a lot of your posts on the Utah Gamers. Did you find your Battlefield 2?
Yeah, Battlefront 2. I actually got it just today from the help of another Utah Gamer. So,
Sweet.
The thing is, I've sort of been game hopping lately, and I've actually haven't been spending a lot of time on gaming. I've actually been watching more movies and anime lately.
Yeah, I've noticed.
But for example, consistently, the game I've been most playing consistently would be Pokemon X. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the wonder trading mechanic, but you sort of send a Pokemon out into the ether, and whatever you get, like you just get some random Pokemon that someone else put into the ether.
Oh, really?
And so my friend and I, we just like made two teams out of entirely wonder traded Pokemon, and
nice.
It was pretty fun.
Did you get anything good?
I actually got some Pokemon that I didn't have in the Pokedex. I got a Charmander, so that turned into Charizard.
Oh, that would be cool.
That is way awesome.
I would like
and
to
then
get
some other ones, and then like one like really useless one.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I went with Squirtle when I played Y. I played Y. And I really love Squirtle, and I don't regret my choice, but I saw the Mega Evolution of Charizard.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. So
yeah, I picked Chespin the Grass Starter, so I was going to go with Squirtle, but when I saw that Charizard got 2 Mega Evolutions, I was like, well,
that's
dang,
right.
I'm going to go with Charmander.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's cool. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, so the other thing is the game I'm trying to beat is Final Fantasy VII, but I've been pretty bad about consistently playing that. I've played a few times this week, but
that's one you got to really dedicate to.
Yeah,
RPGs.
I've gotten pretty far into it, but I have no idea how much time I have left.
Yeah, would you hold on for the break? We'll bring you back on, okay?
Okay.
So stay on the line.
Thanks.
We'll be right back. We'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to Game and Movie Empire. I'm Arthur. I'm here with...
You heard me. It's Watson.
And Pat here in the station.
Just
we also
chilling out.
We also have someone on the phone.
Yeah,
Daniel.
Daniel, still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Awesome.
Cool. Where were we? Pokemon?
Yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII, but
right.
There's not much to say there. It's a long game. I have no idea what I have left ahead of me, but
Have you
been fun.
played a lot of the other ones? Or are you starting with 7? I hear a lot of people start with
this
7.
This is my first one. I just like the thing is I sort of want to go for the classics. So I was like,
I get you.
What game should I beat? Like, what game do I have should I beat? You know what? Let's go with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good
Hey,
one.
yeah,
The new one looks pretty awesome. Like, I used to play Final Fantasy when I was a kid. Never really beat one. But the new Final Fantasy is kind of making me think, well, maybe I should try this again, and maybe do what you're doing. What are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on my PC with my controller, basically.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
I actually modded the game because apparently the game uses the PC version's audio, like not the original PS1 audio files. So I looked up how to switch them back to the original PS1 songs.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. I've gotten to the part where you get thrown out of the gold UFO or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other game I've been playing lately is on Friday, my friend came over and we spent like 3 hours playing. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. Have you ever heard of a game called Deadly Premonition?
I've been seeing a lot of people post about it.
Yeah, so it's,
how is it?
It's a horror game that came out in 2010. The thing is, it's like the world's most polarizing game. Either you think it's like a work of genius or you think it's just horrible.
So what do you think?
The thing is, I think it's a pretty good game with some... the thing is, it's like, even though it's well developed, it looked like it was made on the PS2 in 2003.
When was it?
Really?
But wasn't it made in like 2009 or something?
He said 2010.
It came out in 2010, I believe.
Gotcha.
So the graphics aren't the best, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the graphics look PS2 level, but like the characters are pretty good. Like
Sweet.
the whole, it's got sort of a Lynchian feel that's pretty good.
Cool.
It's a survival horror game with some open world elements. The map sucks, but like the survival horror stuff, it's clunky, but in the right way.
I get you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And of course, you always have time for Super Smash Brothers. It seems like.
Oh yeah. I played that again recently. I had not played in a while, and
so I wanted to ask you: is there like not necessarily a story mode, but like in all the other Super Smash Brothers, you can pick a character and you go and beat all the dudes and unlock characters. That's still there, right?
Yeah, you can. There's still some single player modes, and you still unlock some of the characters. The thing is, this game is structured a little differently from the ones in the past, but I think it works. You start off with most of the characters, and it's really easy to unlock them. And on the one hand, there's that there's not as much accomplishment. But on the other hand, it meant that as soon as I got the game, we were able to do 8-player matches with most of the roster already.
And you've done it with 8 players?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really fun.
So fun. That would be so fun.
And another thing is, like, before, they had, like, a story mode. Melee's adventure mode was kind of simple, but then Brawl had, like, cutscenes and stuff. But then the creator, when he realized that people could just upload all the cutscenes and everything online, he was like, if people can just look it up online, I'm not sure if I want to do it. So what they did instead was they made, like, lengthy, really gorgeous cinematic reveal trailers for all the characters.
I see.
I kind of miss the story mode, but the thing is, I think the Smash is the best one because, like, the core gameplay, the multiplayer, it all feels like so good.
That's awesome.
Like, hard for me to go back to the other ones for several months because it's just so good.
Oh, totally. You know what I think we should do? I think we should go to a movie theater, we should do a Super Smash Brothers, like, epic, like, I don't know if tournament's the thing, but do 8 people, throw it on the big screen.
That would be
and
awesome.
Just like, that'd be so fun. And just like, maybe what we could do is have like a couple groups of 8 and then do like a final 8 or something.
That would be
awesome. Be so fun. That'd be really cool. Maybe we should get on that. So.
Yeah, so that's been most of what I've been playing lately. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's really all I have to say.
Awesome,
so,
man.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. And you were one of the first people who supported us, and you were one of the first people that won prize. So, you're awesome. Thank you for supporting us, man. Please call in anytime, okay?
All right.
You have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Awesome. He's a cool guy.
I agree.
So, yeah, and that's all you've been playing. Oh, and you wanted to talk about you kind of feel a little disconnected from what was the game?
So the game I was talking about earlier was Tinker World of Color.
Gotcha.
I think it would probably be really great for kids. I'm playing it on easy mode because I don't have time for hard mode right now. Like as lame as that sounds, like I don't want to play a game twice as long just because I want a more challenge. Sometimes I just like playing the game, but it's almost to the point where it's like too easy. But
I'm playing Bejeweled in infant mode.
Ooh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about, man.
But yeah, it's fun. I love indie games. I like how they try new things, and I love the art style in this one. But I've also been playing like Dark Forces. So I don't know if anyone's played Dark Forces, kind of like the original Star Wars first-person shooter. But I found this cool mod where you can basically play it in HD. It uses the original files, but it looks a ton better. And I love that game. And
which one again? Sorry?
Dark Forces.
Sorry, I had a moment of... went out of the zone for a second.
Yeah, but I love that game. And there was another game. I'm sure it was really amazing or whatever. But oh, Jazz Punk. I played Jazz Punk.
Did you beat it?
Yeah, I beat it. Oh. That game is the most ridiculous game ever. I mean,
love it.
Watson introduced me to it, but it's like, it's like a 1960s weird robot future.
Spy thriller.
Yeah.
But it's 100% ridiculous.
Oh, it is absurd. Like, there's this moment where my favorite part of the game, I think, you're in this building trying to infiltrate this guy's penthouse. And you go into this room, and then there's this, attractive, blocky female robot. And she's on a bed. She's like, let's have a pillow fight. So you take a pillow and throw it at her, and she flies out the window. Yeah. I laughed so hard. Like, that's what that game is.
Or the guy living underneath the tarp of a pool. Or,
yeah.
Or your guy who always gives you the missions. He's always like, I got to go do this, but then he's just like hiding under his desk or something. And one of my favorite parts too is when you go and you have to poison this food of this guy.
Yeah,
it's like the second level, and then as you're leaving, it's there's all these bad guys trying to stop you.
Oh yeah, and then into bowling pins.
Yeah, bowling. Well, it turns into bowling like puns because when you hit them, it makes the sound of bowling pins, and it's like, no, spare me. And then at the very end, one of them is a bowling pin, and you knock him over. Oh, it's so fun.
That game, that is a great 2 hours or whatever it is. But,
yeah, I really like that game.
Yeah, I love indie games because for me, when I don't have as much time and I can play something like on my day off and beat it, that's what I like to do. And they're always these weird, crazy, quirky things, and they try they try new things that you don't always expect, and it's nice to be surprised by video games.
Well, that's the great, freedom that they can have with that. Like Stanley's Parable. Ugh.
Oh yeah,
that's a great game. You should try that game. It's actually very simple, very. It's really cool. Stanley Parable, but I don't want to talk too much about it because that's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to ruin it, but man, it messes with your mind. You try to mess with its mind. And
that's it. Don't say anything more. But yeah, so games that we're excited for, obviously Arkham.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a big one. I'm also excited for Zelda for the U.
Oh, I'd love to get a Wii U. Now is a great time.
That will be the reason for it.
I got my tax returns back, and I was tempted.
Oh, were you?
I was, but I was like, maybe I'll just wait until Christmas when there's a sale or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But
also, I don't know if you heard this, but Telltale announced that they're making some kind of they didn't really give much about it, but they're making some kind of media. They teamed up with Lionsgate. And it's going to be like a TV show / game. Which sounds like what they normally do, but apparently it's not what they normally do. It's going to somehow, by your choices, pick what you watch. It's really confusing. They haven't really explained too much about it, but it's supposed to be a big deal. I don't know what that's about. Have you heard anything about it?
No, I haven't, but I wonder if maybe what you're saying is it's like a choose-your-own-adventure TV series.
I don't know. Because it sounds like what they do.
Their games are
normally.
normally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Telltale's always great, though. I mean,
lately. Right now I'm playing the Game of Thrones thing, and I haven't played the second episode yet. I need to. But so far it's good.
One thing that I'm really surprised about, or at least confused about, is they're doing a Minecraft series, Telltale. Did you know that?
Say that again?
So, Telltale, they're making a Minecraft
story mode.
Which I don't even know. Like,
I probably won't play.
I mean, like, I could never get too much into, like, the Sam and Max things. They're funny, and, like, they have these fun puzzles. But, like, they can kind of get old for me really quick.
Well, I heard that it's going to go deep and explain where Minecraft came from.
Like the Matrix or something.
I don't know.
I am the engineer. That would be hilarious.
Some child's, I don't know,
you mean
imagination or something.
Like the Lego movie?
Something.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, I say go for it, and if it's crappy, then don't do it again.
Totes.
But 5 minutes.
Well, another game. Well, what are some other games that we're excited about?
Well, apart from Battlefront 2.
Oh, of course.
So it's a way 3. Battlefront 3.
Battlefront 3. Yeah, I mean, and then, some big news coming up is that Bethesda and Nintendo both scheduled their own conferences at E3. That's a big deal. I wonder what Nintendo's going to do. Because they've never done it before. So, what?
Well.
Hi, Arthur.
Hey.
What would you...
Well, I mean, they do conferences.
They
didn't last year.
They do their own thing. They do Nintendo Directs.
But
you can say I'm wrong. That's fine.
Well, they started doing Nintendo Directs last year, but before last year, they'd always done press conference
at E3.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I thought you were you can tell me I'm wrong, Arthur.
I don't want to do it on the radio, but here we are.
Go ahead. I don't care. If I'm wrong, I'd rather you tell me I'm wrong than me be wrong during the show.
True.
And then
that's true, I guess.
Well, I just heard that. I at least thought that they haven't done one in a very long time. That's what I thought.
It might have been a while, but
I got
they
you.
certainly have. But yes, E3 is coming up. Well, I mean, it's not the near future, but it's coming.
We might have a big announcement with that, but we don't want to go crazy and say that.
No.
Letters. So we do have a few last-minute announcements, which we'll get to here in a second. Someone is making a Minecraft movie.
I did see
said that. Oh, that's interesting. Daniel also says, I hope the new Battlefront is good. Wondering what will go down at E3 this year. I really hope they show some pretty good stuff with that.
They better.
I hope that they at least maybe shed a little more light on the open world Star Wars that they're working on.
I think it's been long enough for them to have finally
at least know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my personal opinion is EA's like, we'll make all the Star Wars games start tomorrow. Like, that's probably what happened. They're like, I don't care what you were doing, make it Star Wars. Start tomorrow.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, they probably spent a lot of money on it, and it's probably been long enough that they could actually have something, come to show for it.
I think so. So we're gonna do our announcements, but as we do our announcements, we're gonna do it to a special song. So, as requested. All right. So first off, with getting permission with Pat and stuff like that. We have our Twitch. Every Thursday from now until the end of
time,
until our next radio show, we're going to be doing Twitch streams as well as YouTube streams every Thursday at about 9:00. Now, this next week, Arthur's going to be out of town, like he said, doing his whole thing he does.
Just Disneyland.
So it'll just be me,
Disneyland.
and I'll probably be playing. I don't know. I'll figure out something fun. It's pretty funny to watch me play Dying Light because I get petrified at a lot of things. So, so there's that. Also, we're working on a new short. We're really excited about more thing coming up with that. We don't want to say too much. we should tease a little something.
Well, all I can say is bacon flakes, bacon great. So have bacon flakes or bacon cake. That's all I can.
That's a good one. That's a good tease. Also, final note: I made it on an improv team, and it's called the Improvables. And I really want to invite you all to go check them out and maybe come see a show sometime soon. The information about that is actually in Centerville at 10 p.m. on Fridays at the Centerpoint Legacy Theater every Friday, as well as the second Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. up in Clearfield. So if you live anywhere around there, come check out the show. Go like them on Facebook, facebook.com/improvables. And they also do Twitch streams. So twitchtv.com/improvables. So come check out some awesome improv. So Arthur, any last words? 30 seconds before we do that. By the way, I love all the improvables. Go ahead.
30 seconds. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to be in Disneyland next week.
Thank you, Pat, so much for your help. You're awesome.
It was fun as always. I hope we entertained and enjoyed, and we enjoyed it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Until next month, then.
That's right. NBC News is up on the other side. Best of Jim Sutler, Kitch.
Oh man, does that music mean what I think it means? Afraid so, compadre. Oh man, I wish we could do this every month. Every month, you say? Well then you're in luck. We can! And I just want to remind the listeners listening at home or in their car, what you want to tell them, that they can tune in next month. They better stop packing their bags now.